All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to day 2 of Colorado Invitational, 25th Annual. Hopefully you rest well and maybe got a morning walk in this nice balmy weather. When I woke up, it was minus 2 degrees at my house. So I welcome to Colorado. I think this may be the coldest, but I seem to remember, I was talking to someone last night. I think there was one point where it was minus 5 degrees.
The 1 year it was definitely, maybe even a little colder.
Yep, and then there's been years where it's 70 degrees and we're outside, playing outside. So I would encourage you, maybe we'll move one of these quizzes outside just so we could have a historical memory. We'll do the finals. The final 2 teams will move outside. Yeah, and we'll live stream it in here so everybody can watch in here, and they'll quiz master, and we'll just set this stuff up right outside. We're just going to make sure every team is here. I'll tell us what rooms we're going, just a quick overview of the morning. Most of you already know this, so I'll go through it rather quickly. If you want to look over the general rules, the general information, they're in your booklet. There are some more booklets available on the table in the foyer area, but I would encourage you to look through those if you have any questions. We'll take a quick time for a couple questions after this, but just the morning there will be 4 preliminary rounds. Those are not elimination rounds. Those are get your feet wet, get going. Different format than yesterday, so make sure you get. I'm sure your coaches have talked to you about that. But 4 rounds are simply preliminary for seeding. We'll take a short break after that. We will have seeding, and then we will have the double elimination tournament starting. Finals will be in here. 3 rooms being used will be the auditorium room. It will be live streamed if your family or friends want to watch back home. Also in the fireplace room is room 2. That will be live streamed as well. And then downstairs in the basement, the toddler room will be there. Dave Douglas will be quiz mastering in here, David Poston in the fireplace room, and Colin Baggett in the toddler room. I'll go through the first round, make sure everybody knows what room they're in, and also make sure all the teams are here, and then we will pray and go. Just a reminder on lunch. We will have lunch. There will be a time about 30 minutes before lunch where the ladies are setting up, so let's avoid that, the fellowship hall area. But other than that, help yourself to any snacks, and please, we do not want extra snacks and food left over afterwards, so please take as much as you want. Spectators and quizzers, keep yourself nourished and hydrated and throughout the day. There will be snacks available throughout the afternoon as well. We will have for lunch, Pastor Scott, I talked to him last night. He said, make sure everybody knows how much I wish I was there. So we always look forward to hearing Pastor Scott preach. I will be sharing a short Bible devotional after lunch before we start up in the afternoon. Here in the auditorium with Dave Douglas, we have 3 teams. Just raise your hand if you are, if I mention you, and make sure that you're here. We have Woodside, better be here. Faith Plaid, okay. Falls 3, okay. And then in the fireplace room with David Poston, we had Falls 1. Okay. McQuanago. All right. David raises. Yep. I see Lydia too, so you guys are set. Ridgeview. All right. And then in Colin Baggett's, this says children's room, but it will actually be the toddler room, the bigger of the 2 rooms. Falls 2. Assume if the other 2 are here, you're here as well. New Testament, all right, and Old Paths. All right, so everybody's here. Are there any questions about how it will work today? All right, did you want to say anything?
I would like to. I got a call yesterday from George Wood, and he wanted to let everyone know that's here that we are going to try our best to pull off Squannet on March the 15th. So we're moving it up so that, you're not having to wait for eight weeks now to quiz. So hopefully we'll have a good group there. As far as the questions go, we've got 25 questions in each stack. Basically, you've got one question of either the partial, full reference, or end of the reference questions in each stack, and then 2 quotes and 2 finishes. Um, there are, and again, I tell you this all the time, I'll just repeat it in a very strong way. The end of the reference questions, a few of them you can get or get lucky on, and there's a lot of them where the last word is the word no, which is in there a bunch, and there's a lot of different ones that said, you know, what did Jesus say, but with slightly different wording. So they're meant to make you wait. Of course, I'm happy to give out double errors in my room and a bunch of fouls if you want to do whatever you want to do with them. So, and then occasionally you'll nail them because you know something I didn't realize.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Quick request. You're not telling a secret when you're standing at the top. So speak loud enough so the quizmaster can actually hear what you said and not have to ask you to repeat it.
Good point. And I had that comment as well from people watching online. Make sure that you speak up, both for the quiz master and the audience, but also for those watching at home. I know several supporters watching, enjoying it, but if they can't hear anything, make sure you talk into the microphones or you speak up so the quiz master and audience can hear. Well said. Thank you. All right. If there's nothing else, let's pray and we'll get to our rooms. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. We thank you for your word, the gospel of Jesus Christ. Thank you for redemption. Thank you for your love. Thank you that you are the light of the world. And I pray that we would not be dominated by the praise of men, but by the praise of God. Lord, we love you, and I pray that you'll help today's tournament to run smoothly, be enjoyable, be competitive, and that it'd be a success. And we love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, let's head to our rooms.
Yes, this is the CI tournament. Welcome to our coverage of the actual tournament portion. We're starting with a round robin where we're going to see the teams. There will be 4 rounds. You will see most of the teams here in the auditorium. Also, if you go to the CI TV link, which apparently you did because you're listening, you will have the option to watch quizzes in the fireplace room. There will be no commentary on those. Those will just be raw footage, kind of like this channel was yesterday. But we are going to try on here to kind of keep you updated on everything. So if your team is playing, like for example, Falls 1, McQuantico, and Ridgeview, 3 teams, very good teams. If you listen to the BibleQuizer.net podcast from last night, 3 teams predicted to get top 5 this year. So those are 3 good teams. You can watch them in the fireplace room. So that you can do that. Once that's over, you can flip back over to this channel. This is where the commentary will be. We will be joined by various people throughout the day. You will have me on here through most of it, and we will just kind of tell you what's going on. As of right now, it's a clean slate. Nobody has any record, good or bad. We're going to do 4 rounds of round robin. The results of that will give us the seeds by which we will bracket the tournament. The tournament will begin, we're hoping, sometime around 10:30 to 11, somewhere in that range. That's mountain time. So if you're on the East Coast, that's afternoon, 12:30 to 1. If you're in California, that's 9:30 to 10, and you can convert the rest on your own. So, but most of the time, we'll be giving the time here where we're at in Colorado on mountain time. So, but we're very excited. The first quiz you're going to see here is Woodside, the hosts. We like to put them on camera, who had a wonderful day yesterday. They kind of worked in a few different teams. They got to the Division III championship where they were just beat by that juggernaut team that won the Division III championship called Bring Me the Spoons. It was a great team. And then they had another team who made the top group, the top 6. So Woodside had a great day yesterday. You had Faith Plaid, who it's really hard to get a read on them from yesterday because they were on, I think, 4 different teams. And and some of those teams did well, some of those teams did not do so well, but they're all combining today. We'll see how that goes. I think we'll know a lot after this first quiz. And then Falls 3, who I believe is the youngest team in the tournament. But they're good. Do not let their age fool you. I think they're a very, very capable potential top 5 team. This is the same team that last year got, I think, 4th place at this tournament, either 3rd or 4th place. So they're a very good team, and we expect great things of them. In fact, their top 2, well, their top quizzer, Caleb Van Gelderen, was the number 2 quizzer yesterday, all the stats. And while you can't necessarily determine team success because the teams were all mixed up, you can very easily say that the individual performances that were good, are likely to carry over. Now, this is over the whole book of John, where yesterday was only over a portion. So some people, will have a greater or lesser percentage of the section than they had yesterday. In Caleb's case, I think he knows it all, so I don't think that's changing. He knew it all yesterday, he'll know it all today, and he'll be on top of that. So that's kind of what we got going on there. And so those are the 3 teams you're going to see in the first quiz: Woodside, Florida Plaid, Falls 3. Again, if you're Falls 1, Mukwonago Ridgeview, they'll be in the fireplace room. And for those of you who want to know New Testament, Falls 2, Old Paths are downstairs. And so that's where we're going on that. I'm hearing that we're about to move it over to the quizzing. Okay, we're not going to turn it over to the Doug just yet. So this is the tournament. For those of you who didn't get the chance to listen to the podcast with Cullen and myself last night, who had an hour to dedicate to that, we made some predictions. Actually, I made some predictions, and he told me that I was right, so I feel good about that, vindicated by Cullen's agreement. But the teams who are here that we expect, the strength of the Bible quiz
Special years
community the last couple of years, and I think this year even more so, is Falls and Old Paths, and I expect it to come down to those 2 teams. So we're going to turn over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
And I were joking. Obviously, tomorrow is Valentine's, and we're supposed to fly out early in the morning, and we were, hoping to at some point meet our wives and have dinner and all that. And we thought, the way the year has gone, something will happen, especially since I guess we're supposed to get like 3 to 6 inches of snow tonight, and it's supposed to be below 0 in the morning. And we'll get stuck in the Denver airport, and we'll get to do something that has never even been thought of before until this year. And we'll get to have Valentine's. Our wives will have to meet in Greenville, and David and I will be together in Colorado eating dinner with our wives via Zoom. It just seems right, just have your Valentine date with your wife by way of Zoom. It just seems like that's what should happen, but hope not, but could be. Is Pastor Scott back there? Oh, there you are. Do you know if we replace these green pads? I meant to mention that. We did. Good. Because the first green pad was a disaster. So, and I would just not want to have to put Lydia through that. Okay. All right, let me see all, I guess it's 15 lights, wow. To start, I need to see all of this teams over here. Number 4, I'm still waiting for you. Is it working there, Allie? There we go, all right. How are you, Allie? I heard you talk to your sister on the phone before you got quizzing yesterday? Did you talk to her last night too?
We didn't get to.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't.
I'm sure she'll be glad to hear that. Didn't you make the special team up here? Did I see you up here on? Did you get an award yesterday? All right. Congratulations. I'm sure Danny will be excited. So, all right. Let me see who, if I don't know. Number 104. What is your name?
Levi.
Levi. Last name?
Lemeyer.
Okay. All right. There it is. I see it up there. I think I know just about everyone. Michael, I don't know if I've seen you quiz before. Did I have you in a quiz yesterday? Yeah, maybe. Did you? Okay. That's right. Okay, and I think I know most of this crew over here. Thomas is surrounded by new friends today. So. But congratulations, Thomas. That was you guys did a great job. All right. We're ready. Let's get started. Question 1. Question. What had sorrow filled? Number 4, Thomas.
Your hearts.
That is correct. Question 2. According to John 5:36, what bore? Number 2, Caleb.
What bore? The works that the Father has given me to finish. The same works that I do.
20 points. Question 3. Question. Who was groaning? Number 4.
Jesus.
That is correct. Question 4 is a quote this verse question. Question, quote. Okay, this is where we put fouls back into effect. So I have a foul in Colorado. Woodside. So quote this verse question, quote this verse. Quote John 4:9. Number 3, that would be Levi.
Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
Good job. Question 5. Question. Through what might they also, number 4, Thomas.
Through the truth.
20. Question number 6. Okay, at the end of 5, 0, 20, 80. Question 6. Question. Why did Jesus say to Philip in John 6, number 4, Thomas?
To prove him.
That is correct. Question 7. Question. Why did many of the, number 1, Becca?
Because they feared the Jews.
Good try. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question number 3. That would be Alex.
For the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city.
No, I'm sorry. Several options could come out of that probably. This was the one about why did many of the Samaritans of that city believe on him, and the answer was for the saying of the woman which testified, he told me all I ever did. All right, we have a free question for Falls. What does the porter do in John 10?
Openeth?
I'm sorry?
Said to him, the porter openeth.
I'm not going to be able to accept it. This is a partial reference, so while the verse, if it had been a full reference, that would have been acceptable, but you really need to say, he openeth, he doesn't, what is it that he openeth? The door of the sheepfold to the shepherd. So that's what he does. All right, question number 7 repeated. Question, according to John 18:12, after number 4, Thomas. Sorry, I have to call time. Toss-up question remaining. I have number 5, Caleb.
After these things.
No. I think I said the right reference, John 18:12. That was what I said, right? After taking Jesus, what did the band and the captain officers do? They bound him. All right, we have a free question for Woodside. According to John 11:32, where did Mary fall down? Time? Somebody should at least take a shot at that. It wasn't really that hard. It was at his feet, at Jesus' feet. So give it an effort. Time out, somebody call.
Wait, I want to hold your position.
All right, here we are.
That's okay. Just
Back first quiz.
when you
Fall
stand,
tournament, looking very good, as expected. They're one of the top 3-4 teams in the country. Last year at this tournament, they got 4th place. I know the team's a little bit different, but still led by Caleb. Any team led by Van Gelderen is always a competitor. They look really good. You have the Plaid team and Woodside both kind of fighting for scraps, and a lot of quizzes take on a little bit of a different feel. This is a quiz where you have a team who looks like they're going to run out and get the high win. Falls 3 looks like they're going to get that high win. So the other 2 teams are battling for what will be a middle win, which is very valuable when you have a tournament where losses are much worse than a win. So watch Plaid and Woodside go head-to-head for that middle win and see which of them can start to separate themselves. If Levi gets a chance to get more, look for Plaid to have the edge. But Woodside has the depth. We'll see how it goes. We're going to turn it over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
You did really well. All right, we are going to try to repeat question 7 again. That was one of the nice things about yesterday. We didn't do any of that. All right, here we go. Question 7. According to John 7:20, what, number 2, Caleb?
What?
Time. Toss-up question remaining. Number 3, Levi.
His hour?
No, sorry. I guess we want to do 7 again. All right, we are going to try a free question for Woodside. According to John 4:31, what did his disciples pray Jesus do? Number 5, Michael.
That he would eat?
That is correct. It is only what I would expect that a guy would get the question about somebody needing to eat. Yeah, with food in his mouth. I'm hoping your grandfather was watching, you know. He'd be like, that's my Michael, yeah. like as soon as I can get out again, I'm going to take him for a steak now. Craig, if you're listening, I just hope you're going to take him for a steak. All right. This is question number 8. I'm sorry. 7 again. Question 7 again. It's a reference question. Why had Jesus spoken these things unto them according to John 15, number 5?
11. That my joy might remain in you and that your joy might be full.
That is correct. Thank you for moving us on to question 8. And if your grandfather's watching, he needs to take you for a steak too, just for getting us off of question 7. So we're going to give away a lot of steaks today to everybody except for Matt West, because he gets plenty on his own. So if you know, he loves steak. All right. Question 8. From where was Jesus risen in John number 4?
From the dead.
That is correct. Question 9. It's a reference question. What should whosoever that believeth in number 5, Caleb?
Should not perish.
No, sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Number 1, Gianna?
Have everlasting life.
You know, sometimes there's a reason why these are kind of tricky. This one is from verse 15, and the answer is eternal life. Verse 16 is everlasting life. So, yeah, when I wrote that, I wasn't thinking of you particularly missing it. I was just thinking that someone was going to miss it. So, but anyway. All right, good try. And, all right. Florida Plaid now gets no. Yeah, no, that's right. Falls gets the free question. Here we go. According to John 1:18, who hath declared him?
The Son.
Yes, sir.
The only begotten Son, more specifically, which is in the bosom of the Father.
I'll accept that. All right, where are we at now? Are we doing 9 again? Question 9 again. Question. By reason of Lazarus, number 4, Thomas.
Many of the Jews went away and believed on Jesus.
That is correct. And that is quiz out. Yes.
Don't jump up and get it. So just be smart sportsmanship here today.
Okay. We have Caleb quizzing out, or with the quiz out on Falls 3. How does that affect it? I think you're still going to see them be the dominant team in this particular quiz. You have already losing points on airs, the Plaid team. If that means they're going to continue to be aggressive and maybe they'll get some right, they would do well. So Woodside tried to pick up that toss-up. That was a brilliant move. It didn't work out because they didn't know what verse it came from, as Mr. Douglas mentioned. But this quiz is really falling into the form of two teams battling for the middle win in a tournament where the difference between a middle win and a low is very significant. So that's what we're going to watch. Let's see who is getting up.
Testing? Testing. There we go.
So we're going to turn it back
All
over
right.
to Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
It's probably that TV booth back there. They probably took the sound away from me. They're going to have to do a better job on the commercials. So, all right, this is question number 10. Question. According to John 10:32, what had Jesus... Yes, sir. Gabe.
Many good works.
Good job, Gabe. Question 11. According to John 19:29, what was said? Number 3, Ben.
1929, what was said? Unto I thirst.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 3.
A vessel full of vinegar.
That is correct. What was set? Yeah. I didn't quite get the T out of it. It just kind of stopped on the set. All right. Question number 12. According to John 20:17, what was Mary? Yes, sir.
What was Mary to touch me not?
Sorry, that's an error. Toss-up question remaining, number 3.
I ascend to my Father and to your Father, and to my God and your God.
Nicely done, Alex. Question 13. According to John 9:40, who asked, number 3, Levi?
Some of the Pharisees.
No, I'm sorry, I can't accept that. Was that a toss-up? Okay. Toss-up question remaining teams. Question, according to John 9:40, who asked, are we blind also? All right, time. Again, it's a full reference, so you should have said some of the Pharisees which were with him. More specific. All right, we're repeating 13. We have only enough to get finished if we don't have any more double errors. Okay, this is question 13, and as they finish this first question, finish this verse. When the ruler of, Becca?
When the ruler of the feast tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew.
Sorry. Toss-up question number 3, Ben.
When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom.
That is correct. Question number 14. Time out.
All right. You see Woodside starting to move away from the Plaid team a little bit, and looks like they're trying to position themselves for the middle win. The question will become, will Falls 3 try to compete at the end of this quiz and make it harder for Woodside or the Plaid team to earn points, or will they sit back and try to let those teams battle it out? I think the only chance Plaid has of catching Woodside is if the latter occurs. If Falls 3 goes at these questions, I don't think that the Plaid team will be able to catch Woodside. I think Falls 3 can be that dominant. And there's always the discussion of, as the third team in a quiz where the other two teams are competing for something that you're not really a part of, what role should you play? I don't know where Falls 3 will fall in that philosophical train. Will they be of the opinion that, we need to sit down and let them battle between themselves, or do they say, look, we got a bunch of younger quizzers. They need the opportunity to get a bunch of questions.
Testing, thank you.
So we'll see.
Number 14.
We'll turn over to the Doug. Take it away.
Question.
Doug.
What shall the truth make you? In number 2, Caleb.
Free.
That's correct. Question number 15. To quote this verse question, quote John 7:4. Number 3, Levi.
John 7:4.
Sorry, I have to call time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, quote this verse, John 7:4. All right, sorry. And that means we will not finish this quiz. We will finish it, just not with 20 questions answered correctly. Question 15. When did Satan enter in? Number 2, Lydia. That is correct. Question 16. Question. The foul on Florida Plaid. Question 16. Question. Unto whom in John 2 did Jesus say, number 3, Levi?
The Jews.
Sorry? Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Unto whom in John 2 did Jesus say, take these things? Number 2, Caleb?
Them that sold doves.
That is correct. Question 17. It's a reference question. Who was he not according to John 1:8? Number 5, Caleb?
He was not that light.
That is correct. Question 18. Question. Okay, this is the next to the last question. According to John 14:10, what did Jesus ask if they believed? Number 2, Caleb?
Believest thou not that I am in the Father, and the Father in me?
That is correct. And number 19 is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. Jesus answered, thou couldst have, number 4, Allie.
Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin.
Nice job, Allie. All right, that's your first preliminary.
All right.
Come back to go on to your next quiz, and the good news is you all need to come back strong, but none
All
of you
right.
are.
Falls 3 had a great start. We got that high win. They're looking really good. Woodside's going to be happy with that middle. When you can get a middle, not in your best quiz, that's what you're looking for. If you can make it through. The Plaid teams, at one point they had negative 10, or what I was sitting talking to some fans out here and just saying, that's an impressive negative 10. When you get 3 questions right and you have negative 10, that's an impressive set of, that means you had 7 errors off, that 10 errors. They had double-digit errors. So if that's something you're keeping track of, double-digit error quizzes, mark one up for the Plaid team. They've got a double-digit error quiz under their belt now. So that's going to happen. A lot of teams are going to make errors. We'll see how it goes, but they can't be happy with that, but you're happy that it happened in the early. I got some of the results. Old Paths got a low, and that's a team that I would say has championship aspirations in this event. And look, they got a low in a quiz that won't count towards the tournament. So that's a positive for them. I didn't hear who had the low in the quiz in the fireplace room. I'll get that information to you if you can. Some of you may have watched that. So hold on, someone's sending me. Okay, what they're sending me is not the score, so I don't know who got the low in that. But we do know that so far, Faith Plaid and Old Paths have lows that we know of. So first quiz, you tend to, and this year's a little different than past years in terms of the time. We weren't quizzing till almost midnight last night, but there was a lengthy day of quizzing yesterday. Teams are coming in the morning, and typically when you come in the morning, it's tough. They want me to look at my phone, so I will do that. Okay, yeah, we got that Old Paths lost. Okay, well, so the information that we told you previously, I know the quiz in the fireplace room is over. I just don't know who got the low in that. So far, preliminary quizzes, nothing to get excited about, but you start to see trends. You're going to get to see a lot of Falls 3. You get to see 3 quizzes of them here on CI-TV. So expect them to do really well. They're a really good team, and they, and they showed this last quiz. When your best quizzer, in our estimation, Caleb, is not even the one who led your team in a very dominating high win, you know you've got some talent there. So we're looking forward to this. We think this can be a really fun tournament. Falls 3, of the teams you saw, Falls 3 looks like they may be challenging for the title. Again, I came in predicting Falls 1 and Old Paz in the final. I think Falls 3, New Testament, McQuantico, Ridgeview, those are teams that could challenge for that next spot. And so Falls 3 showed me. We're going to see Falls 3 go against Old Paz, who I had as my championship pick. They lost the first quiz. Not a tournament quiz, so it doesn't matter in that sense. But they got to get it together. They got to make sure they're ready and adapting, and I think they will. They got championship pedigree. They've shown they can do well. And you're going to see them, and you're going to see McQuantico. McQuantico's a 2-quizzer team. They have the David and Lydia. Those are both really good quizzers, and their ceiling is very good. They could do well. Also, they only have 2 quizzers, so sometimes when you only have 2 quizzers, one quizzer gets off to a little bit of a bad start, and it kind of affects the team more than it would seem so in a full 5-person, 5 chairs filled team. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm trying to look to see what's, how the setup is in terms of if we're about to start. But this quiz that you're going to see, this quiz that you're going to see, again, Old Paz, my pick to win the championship. They did lose their first quiz, but I think you're going to see a very good team. You're going to see Falls 3. You just saw them in a dominating fashion. I don't think they'll dominate this quiz in that same fashion. If they do, we will have to relook at things. But I don't think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see them competitive. I think they could win this quiz. I don't think they're going to run off with a almost 300-point quiz against these teams. McQuantico, again, 2-person team, brother and sister. That is the core of the team that 2 years ago won this tournament, so that they're talented. Again, I hate to keep referencing something that you may have already heard, but if you did listen to the podcast we did last night, one of the things we talked about is everyone is suffering from a little bit of depression fatigue, the inability to have quizzes. This is only, for some of the teams, this is their first pad quiz of the year. For some of the teams, this is like their second. Usually, as the second major, teams have had a lot of events up to this. That has not been the case this year. And I think that some have been disproportionately affected. We're going to turn over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
Sit for 1 second longer. Of course, you would be leaning over her. If you could just jump 1 second faster. That's what your dad said. Y'all just need to kind of mix personalities in Bible quiz and just become a dominant force. All right. Good morning to 2 of you all. I've already spoken here momentarily a couple seconds ago to Lydia and David. And good to see you all. It's good to see, let me see here. Let's see, it was good to see your uncle this morning. I haven't, not that one. I mean, I see him a lot. I just,
I love you too.
yeah. I mean, I saw you yesterday, so. But anyway. All right, let me see all 12 lights at one time, please. Thank you. And we are ready. Question number 1. Question. What was manifested? Number 3. David?
His glory.
Not going to accept it. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What was manifested forth in John number 3? Lydia?
Manifested forth disciples believed on him?
No? Okay, so let me just do a refresher because we had it happen in the last quiz too. Partial reference questions with pronouns. If the pronoun is defined within the chapter, you need to tell me who it is. Because my question didn't have Jesus' name in it. And so now if it had been a full reference, then his glory would have been fine because, you have to give the answer in the verse if it's a full reference. If it's a if it's a partial reference, generally speaking, you should try to define there. I mean, there's some rare times out there where it might be a pronoun in the middle of a 15-word answer, and I might not even care about that because it doesn't really. And a lot of times, Jesus might have been in the question, but it wasn't. And so, and that's pretty consistent with how I do it, and most people do. So, especially if you're wondering why was that not right, and there's a pronoun, it might be like, okay, maybe we should say who the pronoun is. Okay? So, with all that said, free question. 4. Man, you get a lot of free questions. According to John 12:48, when shall the word that I have spoken judge him? Yes, sir, Gabe.
In the last day.
That is correct. 10 points. Question 1. Question. Of what did Jesus ask? Number 4, Alyssa. Sorry, I have to call time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Of what did Jesus ask, if any of them? Number 4, Thomas. You got the right one.
Nice.
Time out.
All right. We have 3 really good teams in this quiz, and whenever you have three good teams competing, sometimes you get this where they jump a little early, and I think that's what we've seen in the early stages of this quiz. What we have determined so far is that these teams are determined to get up quickly and not always at the appropriate time. So we will see how this plays out. But I think this timeout is, hey, calm down. It's the quiz is still youthful. We haven't really got anywhere in it. So let's calm down and let's get some questions and let's move forward with this. So I think that's what we're going to see. Hopefully that's what we're going to see. We want to see good quizzing. We don't want to see, we don't want to see 3 teams get 15 errors. That would not be as entertaining to us. So we're glad that the teams are here. We're glad that they're excited, and we hope that they can turn that enthusiasm into better performance the rest of the way. So, and I think we will. We got 3 really good teams. Look for some of your leaders like a Caleb or an Alyssa or a Dave to get a couple questions and calm it down. And the team that does that will be sitting well for a high win. So we're going to turn back over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
All right. Question number 2 repeated. Question number 2, actually. This is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. Jesus, number 4. Alyssa?
Jesus saith unto her, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascend to my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God.
Okay, so what are you and Thomas doing? You picked the right one. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so what sort of equipment do y'all have to be able to look down here and read my mind or whatever? All right, nice pull. Be sure and say thank you, Jesus. All right, question number 3. Question number 3 is a quote this verse question. Question, quote this verse. John 4, number 4, Alyssa.
John 4:10. Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
That's correct. Question 4. According to John 5:12, what number 2, Ben?
John 5:12, what? Take up thy bed and walk. What man is this that saith to thee, take up thy bed and walk?
That is correct. You'll see me look every once in a while to make sure the chairs are not getting close. There's no one quizzing here, but just because they will be eventually soon, do you mind just pushing that this end chair up a little bit? It's getting really close to the edge back there. We had one yesterday that was half hanging off, so. Okay, question number 5. Question. Who bringeth forth, number 4, Alyssa?
Bringeth forth, Simon Peter.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up question number 4, Thomas.
What can bring forth much fruit? He that abideth in me and I in him.
20. Question 6. Question. Why does he that hateth, number 3, David?
He that hateth me.
Sorry, I have to call time. Toss up question number 3, Ben.
Lest his deed should be reproved.
You got it. Question 7. According to John 12:46, number 4, Thomas.
I am come a light into the world. That whosoever believeth in me should not abide in darkness.
That is correct. Question number 8.
Could I make a challenge?
Sure.
I mean, I believe we're quizzing by ACS rules today, and if I'm correct, ACS rules, you can't quote through the whole verse to give a question, and even if the question is most of the words, you can't verbatim quote through a verse. So I believe that's what he did. He just quoted through the whole verse. So
You're saying he quoted every word of the verse?
yes,
Every word.
yes.
It's at times like this where we wish we could have a cloud bubble with his thoughts in it.
I don't think he quoted the verse verbatim. And even so, I'm going to, do you think you quoted it
I
verbatim?
think I quoted through the whole thing.
What's that?
I think I quoted through the whole thing.
That's interesting. You just had a quizzer admit something that could end up costing his team points. We'll see what he does
Well,
with it.
I did not pick up on the fact that he did I'm also going to state very strongly that that is one of my pet peeve rules at ACS that I try not to enforce unless I feel like somebody's trying to game it. And there was nothing about that that I felt came out that way. I mean, if he did quote it word perfect, I didn't catch it. He's told me he did. I think what I will do, I'm not going to give him an error. I'm going to throw the question out, and I really don't think I should do that either because I think that rule stinks, to be honest with you. But, you know,
In support.
we've had the discussion actually, and Dr. Knapp has actually made the comment that, you know, in certain scenarios, that rule really shouldn't be applied. This one being a longer verse, I could see how someone might say it should be. But, you know, I feel like if every part of the question and the answer is on my sheet and he chose to use the word I instead of Jesus, that was really the only difference. But you made a good challenge and I'm going to accept it. But yeah.
Just for clarification, I had thought at one point that they changed that rule. Did they not change it though?
I believe that while they would tell people at the AACS meetings that quizmasters had the ability to make decisions. The last time we did 1 Thessalonians, it was clearly stated that we had the ability to make discretionary decisions about that I don't believe it's ever been changed in the rule book.
Okay.
If it has, then I apologize for not being aware of that. But
Thank you.
I understand why it happened because there are leagues where literally you can jump up and you can have no clue whatsoever and all you have to do is quote the verse and that suffices for your answer every time. That's why that rule is there. But none of you have ever quizzed in those leagues that let people do that. So, and I'm not mad at you at all. I just want to be clear. I'm just saying there was nothing about that that caused me to think he had quoted through the verse. So, all right, we will throw it out though.
Now, I believe that rule is still there, although it was reworded.
All right,
But,
this
that's a good
is,
decision. So let's see how this goes.
I guess we're doing 8 again, right?
8 repeated.
Okay, 7 again. Question. In what might they be made? Number 4, Alyssa.
That they may be made perfect in one.
That's correct. Question 8. According to John 14:8, what number 2, Caleb?
What? Lord, show us the Father and it suffices us.
Yes, sir. Question 9. It's a reference question. Who stood, according to John 1, number 3, David?
Who stood? One. Referring to Jesus.
I'm sorry. Toss up number 2, Caleb.
John and 2 of his disciples.
That is correct. Question 10. Question. When are ye happy? Number 2.
When are you happy? If you do them. Meaning if you know these things.
One second. Yeah, I'll accept that. Yes.
Right, we're here. We've got some results from some other rooms. Falls 1 got a second high win. They're really doing well in the fireplace room. They got 2 high wins now. New Testament got a middle after getting a high the first round, and then Woodside after their middle got a low. This quiz, McQuantico's had kind of a rough go of it. They had that challenge that was accepted, but seemingly they were seemingly reprimanded for making the challenge. And then, so now you have Old Paths and Falls 3 kind of separating themselves. I like to say quizzes take on different feels. The first quiz we had one team run off with a high one, the other two teams were battling for the middle. This is a quiz where you have one team kind of sitting back down and you have the other two teams kind of fighting for the high in the middle. We're going to send it back to the Doug to see what happens. Take it away, the Doug.
Question number 11. Question, according to John 4:52, number 3, David.
To John 4:52. It. Required he of them the hour when he began to mend.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 5.
Did he inquire? The hour when he began to amend?
No. Completely different question. When did the fever left the boy? Yesterday at the 7th hour. Pre-question. When in John 13 did Jesus love his own?
He gave it to his in Jesus' name.
Josh?
And then when they were in the world, he loved them unto the end.
I'll accept that. Question 11 repeated. According to John 11:27, number 4, Thomas.
27. What? You would have believed that thou art the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world.
Correct? Question 13. According to John 10:16, number 3, Lydia.
There shall be one fold and one shepherd.
Okay. This is for everyone except for David and maybe Alyssa. I really do need you to speak up. Your answer's correct, by the way. But most of you, I am, I'm now 56, and I don't think it would matter if I was 12. Most of you are not talking even close to loud enough, okay? I know sometimes you get a little nervous, but one good way to get over being nervous is to speak loudly and affirmatively. You only whisper, this is a quizzing tip, you only whisper or talk really fast when you're not completely sure. Or if it's a 3-verse quote, then you may have to. But you do that because you're kind of hoping maybe he won't hear if I don't quite say something or whatever. But if you know it, say it loudly. All right. Question 14. Finish this verse question. Question. Finish this verse. A new, number 3.
A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another.
That is correct. Question 15. 14. I'm just trying to get ahead one here. Okay. I don't think I asked this. If I did, you can just tell me that in a minute. According to John 10, no, I asked that, didn't I? Yeah, I lost something here. Okay. Question 14. According to John 21:13, number 2.
13. What? Fish and bread likewise?
Say it again.
Fish and bread likewise.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to John 21:13. What, number 3, Lydia?
He taketh bread.
No, I'm sorry. Question was what likewise? Fish was the only acceptable answer. This bread was earlier. Okay, free question. According to John 9:21, what know we not? Lydia?
By what means he now seeth? Or who hath opened his eyes?
10 points. All right. Question 14. Repeated. It's a reference question. Question. Why will they do these things unto you, according to John 6, number 4?
16. Because they have not known the Father nor me.
That is correct. Question 15 is a reference question. Question. Who saw and, number 3, David.
Who saw and believed? He referring to the disciple which came first to the sepulchre.
That's correct. Question 16. Question. What is the C, number 3, David?
What is the sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias?
That's correct. Question 17. Question. To whom was Jesus, number 3?
To whom would Jesus my lost sheep of the house of Israel?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. To whom was Jesus referring? Number 2, Ben.
The Pharisees?
No, I'm sorry. When he said to his mother, Woman, behold thy son, he was referring to the disciple standing by whom he loved. Free question for false. According to John 18:27, when did the cock crow?
Immediately?
Yes, ma'am. 10 points. Question 17. We have enough to finish if we don't have any more double errors. Question 17. What custom did they have? Number 2, Lydia.
That I should release unto you one at the Passover.
That is correct. Question 18.
Those middle chances alive.
Questions. Quote this verse question. Question, quote John 2:15. Number 4.
John 2:15. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables.
That is correct.
But out that fifth right after she got
And
up.
question
really,
number
really
20.
helped.
According to John 9:21, what did number 2, Lydia?
By
means he now seeth, or who hath opened his eyes?
20 points. All right. You have one more question?
There's a question 20
Yeah,
left.
maybe in the process that something happened here where I didn't read one of these questions. That's the only thing I can figure. Okay, there's one repeated. We repeated 7, right? Yeah, so we did repeat it. Oh, we threw out. That's what happened. I apologize. We have one more question because we threw that question out. That's why we were one off. Okay? Question. According to John 7:6, what is number 4?
7:6. What is my time? Am I referring to Jesus?
That is correct. Okay? All right, quiz down on the last one. Good job. Good quiz, all.
All right, we are now halfway through the round robin. So it's only been 2 rounds, but we're starting to get a feel. You have Falls 1 who has 2 high wins. Falls 2 with a high and a middle. Falls 3 with a high and a middle. Falls. This will be a recurring theme, but Falls is looking really good. You have the Plaid team who has 2 losses. Woodside has 1. Old Pass has 1. Ridgeview has 1. McQuantico has 1. That's 5 teams with a low. The only other team without a loss other than 3 Falls teams is New Testament. So the top 4 teams right now, halfway through the round robin, are Falls 1 with 2 highs, and then Falls 2, Falls 3, and New Testament all have a high and a middle. So we're going to see how this plays out, but halfway through, that's how it's looking. Now you have Old Paths who got a high along with a low, so of the teams with a loss. And again, I don't know how much the seeding matters when there's only 9 teams and you're looking at that. So that's something we'll look at and we'll go from there. But we have now coming up for you. We're going to have Falls 3, whom you've seen quiz twice, get a dominating high and get a competitive middle, and they're going to come in. You got Ridgeview, who so far has a low and a middle, and New Testament, who is one of the 4 teams without a low. So you have Falls 3 and New Testament, neither of which have a low, and Ridgeview has a middle and a low. This is 3 really good teams. Ridgeview is one of the deeper teams in the tournament. They have 4 quizzers, all of whom could get a question at any time. That's an edge, and you're going to see that. They're going to be really good. Falls 3, you've seen. I won't talk about them so much because if you've been watching on here, you know about them. I'll get to them in a second. New Testament, they have the potential to really, I think they could win this tournament. And as a guy from Florida, I commonly am said to have what we call a Florida bias. So you've got Sydney is really good, can be aggressive. Carson, really good, tends to not be as aggressive, doesn't make as many errors. And then you have Nathaniel, who when he's on is a great number 3 quizzer. Sometimes because of his youth, you find him looking at counting the ceiling tiles and whatever. And some great quizzers have that in their youth. So there's nothing wrong with that, but we just know that that's how that's going to be. So if we can get, I don't know how soon they're going to start this, but those are the 3 teams you have. And let's talk about Falls 3 a little. I think they're going to finish 3rd in this tournament. That was my prediction. You've got Ben Steckman, Caleb Van Gelderen, Gabe Sanderlin, all really good quizzers who can get a question at any time. This, for a middle school team, this is a deep team that's really good. And so Falls 3 has been impressive so far. I know they got a middle to Old Paz, but Old Paz is a team I picked to win it all. And Old Paz snuck out that high win with a couple of the last 2 questions, both of them, they got fortunate on what we like to call slippage, where the they stood up and more of the question got up. Now, that always happens because we know that we don't have machines asking these questions. But sometimes that slippage is inconsequential. Sometimes it's the difference between having a really low chance of getting the question and having a really high chance. Both of those were situations where, quote this verse where you don't have the verse number, and a question with a verse, but then you got out the verb. And so that's how tight it was between Falls 3 and Old Pass. So I think Falls 3 is a really good team, and you're going to see them again, and they're really good. I'm being told nothing, so we're going to. That's that quiz. Again, we've had 2 round robin quizzes, and we have 5 different teams with a low. So this is a super competitive tournament. We always like to say the thing that separates CI from other majors is the grind. The grind is different this year. We didn't have tournament quizzes yesterday, but all of these quizzers you see there quizzed all day. And by all day, I mean they started at 10 and went to about 5:30. I mean, it was a full day of quizzing. I don't know to what degree that fatigue is going to set in. I don't know to what degree that's going to have a bearing. But we're going to see. We're going to turn over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
It's such an aggressive jump. That's how David jumps. Yes. David then leans back and just shoots himself backwards. He doesn't even know that.
You have to pull your arms in.
That's right. I said it.
Don't impale yourself.
Like, you have to hold your face that way more.
All right, let me see all, what is it, 13 lights? Good, thank you. And this room has had issues today with too many errors. We've had a lot of really slow quizzes as a result, so. Not these guys. These guys haven't made that many, but they just seem to draw errors out of their opponents. So just watch out for that. Thomas really irritates people by, jumping on the reference and picking the right one out of, jumping on the chapter and picking the right answer. And then Alyssa, even in spite of the errors, Alyssa got the finish right on only the word Jesus. The one about touched. Okay, so those were the 2 good moments of the quiz. The rest of it was, all right. Anyway, here we go. I'm just warning you, Carson. Weird things happening here today. Hopefully y'all will change that. Maybe the green glasses will do it for us. Okay. Question 1.
Mr. Quizmaster.
Yes.
My light's not working.
It just came on.
When you sat down, it wouldn't go off right away.
Okay, everyone else sit, please. I want to try 4 several times here. Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, I was looking at you. Oh, sorry.
See, I'm telling you, weird things happening here. This is like the 3rd time this tournament somebody has told me their light was not working, only to find out that, oh, I was looking over there on seat number 5 on the other team, and it's like, actually, I was over there looking at Joella's light, and Joella was just sitting there, and she wouldn't turn my light on for me. So, all right, Thomas. Thomas has an excuse to have a moment like that because he's getting everything right. So, all right, Thomas. The bad news is when you get to be 56, you have lots of moments like that all the time. So here we go. Question 1. Question. Who were doubting? Number 4.
The disciples.
Good. Nice. Question 2. According to John 8:2, what 3? Number 2. Caleb.
What 3? The
scribes, and Pharisees. No, I'm taking adultery.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 2. That would be Caleb.
He sat down and taught them.
3 things. Came again in the temple, sat down and taught them. 3 questions. Like I said, weird things in this room. All right, free question. According to John 7:6, what is not yet come?
My time being Jesus.
Correct. Question number 2 repeated. Question, unto whom in John 5 did Jesus, number 3,
John 5, did Jesus?
time?
To the.
Toss-up question remaining, number 1.
The impotent man?
A moment, please.
I'd always like to see a thought bubble when he goes to the book and he's looking and you want to know what he's thinking. You don't know what he's thinking about, but you're confident it's important. So as we watch Douglas, let's think of what thought bubbles we could have on there.
Question number 3. Question. According to John 19:16. Number 5. Blake.
They took Jesus and led him away.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question remaining teams. Question according to John 19:16.
Whom did he, him, therefore unto them? He referring to Jesus?
No. My question was, he was there, he just added too much information. My question was just, who did they take? And the answer is Jesus. And I didn't have the let away part in the question or answer. And then you added in stuff from the beginning of the verse that wasn't part of it. So free question. For New Testament, according to John 4:1, what did the Pharisees heard? Number 3.
That Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John.
That is correct. All right, this is question number 3 repeated. Question, according to John 12:15. Number 2. Caleb?
Thy king.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 2.
Daughter of Zion.
That is correct.
Time out.
What? Time out?
Yes.
Okay, time out for Richie.
All right, first time out. We have quiz has gotten off to a little bit of a slow start. And apparently, okay, good. We have -10 is a really, really slow start for Ridgeview, but they're a team that can pull out of it. The question is, will they? But as we mentioned going into this, those other two teams are 2 of the 4 teams without a low. So Falls 3 and New Testament are really good teams. You could not have asked for a better start than what New Testament got. Looks like we're about to start again, so we're going to turn it over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
All right, time in. This is question number 4. Question: why did the Jews murmur? Number 4, Thomas.
Among themselves. But he said, except eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 1, Carson.
Because he said, "I am the bread which came down from heaven."
That is correct. All right, question 5. So quote this verse. Question. Quote John 1:12. Number 5.
John
Blake?
1:12. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name.
That is correct. Good job talking loud too, because I could clearly hear you didn't add the D on believe. That was good. Question 6. According to John 21:24, who? Number 4, Thomas.
Who? This is the disciple which testifieth of these things and wrote these things.
That is correct. Question 7. According to John 9:11, where? Number 4, Thomas.
Where? Pool of Siloam.
That is correct. Question 8. Question: what was to be made? Number 1, Carson.
Preparation made for the Sabbath day.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question: what was to be made straight? Number 4, Thomas.
The way of the Lord.
That is correct. Question 9. So finish this verse. Question. Finish this verse. And this. Number 4, Thomas.
And this is the disciple which testifieth of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 3, Benjamin.
And this is the condemnation that light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil.
Good job.
Nice.
Question 10. Question: do what in number 1, Carson?
Do all things that were reason to choose. Yeah. Amen.
I just snuck one of them. You picked it right. The only question in the whole tournament that came from completely different books and. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't error. All right, toss-up question, remaining teams. Question: do what in John 14 if you. Number 4, Thomas.
Keep my commandments.
That is correct. One more. Okay. Question 11. This is a reference question. Who am I according to John 10, number 2, Caleb?
I am the door.
I'm sorry, is it correct? Toss-up question number 3.
The Good Shepherd.
Good job, Nathaniel. Question 12 is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. Behold the, number 4, Thomas.
Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me.
Is correct? And that's the quiz out.
Can we have another timeout?
Timeout, okay.
You got Falls 3 having their quiz out. We're going to see how that's going to affect them from henceforth. But this quiz right now, you've got 2 teams in Falls 3 and New Testament, both undefeated, both battling for the high win. Right now, it looks like Ridgeview's in position for a low. But of the teams that are here, they're one of them who could go on a run, get 3-4 questions in a row. They're not so far back that they're out of reach, but they've got to improve. When you saw Nathaniel get that toss up, that was huge for New Testament. Anytime Nathaniel gets a question, their odds of winning have to go up tremendously because you know what you're going to get from Sydney and from Carson, and those are both 2 of probably the top 5, 6, 7 quizzers in the country. So exciting quiz. We're going to turn it back over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
All right, question number 13. Question. What was wrapped to get number 4, Josh?
The napkin that was about his head.
20. Question 14. Question. According to John 2:8, when number 2, number 2, Caleb.
When out now.
That is correct.
Good job.
All right, question number 15. According to John 4:5, who? Number 2, Caleb.
Who? Near Jacob. To his son Joseph.
That is correct.
Good job. That's great.
All right. So now, New Testament, you can join the other 2 teams in the air zone. This is question 16. Question. According to John 7:22, what? Number 3, Benjamin?
Circumcision.
That's correct.
Nice.
Timeout. Mr. Quizmaster, may I have a timeout?
Yes.
As I said, Ridgeview is a team that could get 4 in a row, and you know what happened? They got 4 in a row. So now the other teams are looking to slow down their momentum. So this is a great quiz when you have 3 teams at 100-plus points with only a few questions remaining. The quizzes in the other rooms finished, and now those kids are coming in to watch this quiz, and you got 3 teams, very competitive. Ridgeview had the momentum before the timeout, but before the last timeout, they had no momentum. So we'll see if momentum means anything. And it looks like we're about to turn it over to the Doug, so take it away, the Doug.
All right, this is question number 17. Question. Who was a robber? Number 1, Carson.
Barabbas.
That is correct. Question 18. Question. What can ye not? Number 4. Josh?
And John.
Sorry, I called time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, what can you not bear? Number one, Carson.
Many things that I have to say unto you.
That's correct. Question number 19. Question, what do men love? Number 4, Josh.
Darkness.
That's correct. All right, question number 20. Question, from whom is the Spirit? Number 4, Josh.
The Father.
That is correct. All right, I think we do need to have the quiz off here, so Falls, just sit back for a second. And this is our tiebreaker question.
All right, first loss for Falls 3. We now have 6 different teams with a low.
This is a reference question. Question, why did Jesus speak these things in the world? Number 3, Nathaniel.
Because he was with them.
No, I'm sorry. Question, reference question, why did Jesus speak these things in the world according to John 17:13? Benjamin?
That my joy might be fulfilled in themselves.
Again, I need a thought bubble over Douglas's head so I know what he's thinking.
That is correct. Nice.
All right, Ridgeview,
All right,
at
good
30
job. Nice to
points
come
after
back,
14
Ridgeview.
questions, gets the high win.
Falls, y'all had a good day so far. That was a very good quiz overall. And we'll go to our final prelim quiz.
Good job, guys.
And Falls 2. All right, that was a great quiz. Ridgeview comes from behind to pull out the high win. New Testament, they're one of 3 teams remaining without a low. And the first low for Falls 3 now have the losses distributed among 6 teams in 3 rounds. So the losses have pretty much distributed. In this next quiz, you're not going to get to see Falls 3 again. You've been watching them all morning. We're going to have New Testament, who, again, one of the 3 teams without a low, Faith Plaid, and McQuantigo. And so this quiz, that's who you're going to see. New Testament, their record 2 highs and a high and 2 middles. Plaid has 3 lows, and McQuantigo has a high, a middle, and a low. They've equally distributed their results. So we have, and that's what you're going to have. McQuantigo has 2 quizzers. When they are on, they can beat anybody. The one thing you worry about with 2 quizzers is it just takes one small bad result for the whole team to feel that pain, because it's only 2 people and you don't have other people to lean on. So we have 3 teams of the 9 without a low. One of them you're going to see in this round, New Testament. The Falls 1 and Falls 2 are 2 of the teams without a low, and they're playing each other in this round. That will not be streamed, so I apologize in advance. You will not be able to see that. But if you want to see Woodside, Ridgeview, and Old Paths, you can turn over to the other channel on CI TV and catch it again. There's no commentary on that, so some of you may think, oh, that's a pro. We don't have to put up with your commentary, but that's where we're at. So we have in this quiz, this will be the final quiz before we start to do the pairings and pair teams off into the tournament. So this is the last time to lose with it not affecting your elimination. So if you're excited about getting a loss at a particular time, this would be that time to get it. In this quiz, you're going to see New Testament, who I believe would be the favorite in this particular quiz, one of the favorites to do well, to win the tournament, do well. They have They have two really, really top quizzers in Carson and Sydney. And they also have Nathaniel and Joella may have both gotten awards yesterday for their performance. So they're both very capable quizzers. They're not they're not top 10 quizzers in the country yet. They're both they're much younger people, and so that can improve. So that's your New Testament team. I think they're the class of this particular quiz. Faith Plaid, they so far in the preliminary rounds lead the tournament in errors. So we know they can make mistakes. If they can ever turn that around, maybe they could experience some success, and we'll see how that goes. Mukwonago has two people, and they, like I said, they've had a high, a middle, and a low, and they can fill in any spot in a quiz. David, commonly referred to on the program as Tractor Dave. Tractor Dave, great quizzer, has led a team to a championship in this before, so we'll see how that goes this year. We're ready to start, so we're going to turn it over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
Well,
I think he does do it. You just don't hear
I've been called a lot of things before. I've not heard the nickname the Doug before.
Can you turn our lights on?
I don't know. I'm still in shock. This world, I have to go get counseling now.
We just have heard it so many times on BibleHooper.net that we're.
Yes, I didn't even know that. Try not to listen to those things.
If your last name was Out, you could be called the Dugout.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I guess when your name's Matt, you've been beaten up all your life. We just call you Matt. Just a Matt. In fact, I think I'm going to try to push for the name Matt being the equivalent of Karen in the politically correct world we live in now. So, but anyway, he'll appreciate that. But, yeah, it could be. Yeah. All right. How are you, Joella? All right. Looks like we're all here, ready to go. Let me see everyone's lights. Okay. And Nacho, you need to help your team make fewer errors. Okay.
your lights on.
Because as I recollect, in my room, you didn't make any. Okay. You should not speak such of your teammate. Y'all won like a major tournament or something online, you know, like in California from Wisconsin and Florida. So, all right, here we go. This is question number 1. Question: according to John 7:45, who came number 2, Lydia?
The officers, which are the chief priests and Pharisees.
Correct? Question 2. In John 6, by what did this, number 2, Lydia?
By reason of a great wind that blew.
That's correct. Question 3. Who was not with number 3, David?
Thomas, 1 and 12, called Didymus.
That's correct. Question 4 is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. When therefore, number 3, David?
When therefore the Lord knew how the Pharisees had heard that Jesus made and baptized more disciples than John.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question remaining. Toss-up question remaining teams. Question, finish this verse. When therefore he was risen from the dead, number 2, Joella.
When therefore he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this unto him, and they believed the scriptures and the word which Jesus had said.
You were really close, but I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question remaining teams. Yes. Where you made your mistake is I think you said him instead of them, and then you made another mistake at the end. I think you said scriptures instead of scripture. So, anyway, good try. And we have a free question. All right, who spoke in the treasury in John 8? Number 5, Caleb.
Jesus spoke in the treasury.
That's correct for 10. Question 4 repeated. So quote this verse, question, quote this verse, John 4:26. Number 2, Lydia.
John 4:26. Jesus saith unto her, I that speak unto thee am he.
That is correct. Question 5. Question. Into what did Jesus pour? Number 5, Carson.
Into a basin.
Correct. Question 6. According to John 11:13 of number 3, David.
John 11:13 of his death.
That is correct. Question 7. Question. From whom have ye believed? Number 4, Sydney.
From him. From the Father.
I really would like one of those thought bubbles. Like, I know I keep saying this, but he seems to be contemplative more than usual this year.
I'll accept that. Question number 8. It's a reference question. Who was brought to the Pharisees? Number 5, Carson.
In John 9. Him that aforetime was blind.
That is correct. Question 9. Question. To whom did Jesus say, number 5, Carson.
I am. Many of the Jews.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Number 2, that would be...
The Pharisees.
No, good try. The correct answer is Thomas. To whom did he say, I am the way, the truth, and the life? Okay. Free question. According to John 12:48, what shall judge him? Lydia?
The word that I have spoken.
That's correct. 10 points. Timeout.
Okay, if you're a fan of McQuantico, that could not have gone better to start. And then New Testament has gotten a few questions here in a row, and they're probably feeling okay about that. Plaid has not overcome their propensity for errors in that they haven't gotten a lot correct. They've only made a couple errors, so they're on pace to have a lower error total in this particular quiz. Let's see how this goes. We like to say that each quiz takes on a little bit of a different temperament. This is a quiz where right now, if you're looking at it, no two teams are within a couple questions of each other, which makes for an interesting. Is one team going to make a run like we saw Ridgeview do last quiz and go from behind to ahead? Or will this kind of maintain? I don't know if McQuantico can maintain it, but if they can, that was a phenomenal start. And they did it by being aggressive and getting a couple that maybe you didn't think they were going to get, and they missed a couple too. But being aggressive is important. We're going to take it back to the Doug.
All right, we are ready to move on. This is question 9 repeated. Question. According to John 12:9, why number 2, Lydia?
He seeth the way of this world.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up. We got her. We got her. We'll get her if we didn't get her. Okay. Toss up question number 2, Becca.
That they might see Lazarus also, being raised from the dead.
No, I'm sorry. The question is, why did they come? That's half the answer. The answer is not for Jesus' sake only, but also for Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. All right, free question. In John 1, not of what 3 things were they born? Number 3, Nathaniel.
Not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man.
Correct for 10. Question 9 repeated. It's a reference question. What is in Galilee? Number 3, David.
What was in Galilee? Cana?
That's correct. Question 10. According to John 8:28, whom did you... Number 5, Carson.
And who did Jesus? The Son of Man?
That is correct. Question number 11. Question, according to John 15:15, what? Number 3.
15. The for all things that I've heard of my Father I've made known unto you.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up question number 2, Becca.
Servant. The servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth.
One second. That is correct. Question 12. According to John 17:5, with number 3, David.
With thine own self.
sorry. Toss-up question number 5, Carson.
With thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
That's correct. Question 13. According to John 4:45, what? Number 3, Nathaniel.
The things having seen all the things that you did.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 3, Levi.
He made the water wine.
No, I'm sorry. Nathaniel, you were definitely headed the right direction. You just stopped too quick. All the things he had done at Jerusalem at the feast. All right, free question for McConaughey. According to John 7:10, how went he up to the feast? David?
Not openly. But as it were in secret.
That's correct. Question 14. I'm sorry, 13 repeated, right? Question 13 repeated. Question. Why does he that does number 2, Lydia? Sorry? Toss-up question number, were you not jumping? Okay, we have a foul on Florida. Plaid. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, why does he that does truth, number 3, Sydney?
That his deeds may be made manifest. That they are wrought in God.
That's correct. Time out for Florida Plaid.
All right. New Testament, after starting slower, has finally overtaken McQuantigo, and you don't know if that's going to stick. Those two teams are within 10 points, so that could be up for grabs. If Plaid is going to make a run, now's when they need to make it, get several in a row. They've gotten up first on several in a row, so I think they're capable of making that happen, especially in a quiz where the other teams are slowing down a little bit. This could be their opportunity, but if they don't make a run in the next 3-4 questions, if they don't get almost all of them, they will not be able to make that run. So they've got to be aggressive early in the next few questions, and maybe being aggressive early will pay off. So right now, you got McQuantigo, who got off to a blazing start. Since question 5, they have been largely held in check. You have New Testament, slow but steady. And let's see how it finishes up. We'll go to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
Back into the quiz. And we are going to question 14. And it is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. So when they, number 3, David.
So when they were
I'm sorry, that's an error. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, finish number 1.
So when they were gone up, then went he also up into the feast.
No, I'm sorry. It's 21:15. So when they had dined, Jesus said to Simon Peter. All right, free question for New Testament. What did Jesus begin to wash in John 13? Carson?
The disciples' feet.
Craig for 10. Question 14 repeated. Question. What is just? Number 3, David.
My judgment is just.
That's correct. Question 15. Question number 15. Question. What was the name of the servant? Number 3, David.
Malchus.
That's correct. Okay, we have just enough questions to finish this if we don't have any more double errors. 16, according to John 19:1. What did number 2, Becca?
Pilate scourged Jesus.
That is correct. 20 points. Question 17. It's a reference question. What did he say unto them according to John 1:30, number 2, Becca?
Behold. Behold the Lamb of God.
No, sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Reference question. What did he say unto them according to John 1:30, number 5, Carson?
Come and see.
That is correct. Question 18. What shall any man do? Number 3, David.
You shall know the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What shall any man do if he enters in, number 5, Carson?
In at John 10. He shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture.
20. All right, that's a quiz out. Good job. Question 19. Question number 19. Question. What did Jesus overthrow? Number 3, David.
Overthrew the tables.
That's correct. And that's a quiz out. Question number 20 is quote these verses. There are 2 of them. John 3:16, number 2, Lydia.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
That's correct. All right, and we have to have a tiebreaker here, so now she's not out, is she? Okay. All right. This is our tiebreaker question. According to John 12:17, who bare number 2, Lydia?
They that were with him when he called Lazarus out of his grave and raised him from the dead.
That is correct. All right. Good quiz. That's the end of our preliminaries. They'll be getting everything together for the double elimination tournament, and we'll get that started pretty quickly.
You can have that part as well. All right, we have the seedings are in, and the preliminary quizzes are over. Falls 1 is going to be the top seed. Can't be super surprising with a 3-1-0 record. New Testament is going to be the second seed. I know they're quite excited about that. People are looking at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. So interestingly, there was a 3-way tie for third, and the tie was between Old Paths, Falls 3, and McQuantigo. Well, here's the thing. That exact quiz took place that you saw on CI TV in the auditorium. And so that's how the tie is broken. The way that quiz fell out. Old Paths got the high, Falls 3 the middle, McQuantigo the low. So that's your 3, 4, and 5 seeds. So, all right, the 6th seed is going to be Falls 2, who was sitting at the 2nd seed line just a round ago. One quiz makes that much of a difference, and so that's it. You had a surprisingly tight battle for the 7th seed between Ridgeview and Woodside, but Ridgeview had a slightly better record. And then the Faith Plaid team is going to be the 9 seed. So once again, to review, Falls 1 is the 1 seed, New Testament the 2 seed, and being told that I'm wrong. So
5 and 6 should be switched. Falls 3.
is 4 seed. McQuantigo is the 5 seed. Okay. I'm being told I'm not incorrect. So, all right. So, again, seeds, Falls 1 is number 1, New Testament 2, Old Paths 3, Falls 3 is the 4 seed, McQuantigo the 5 seed, Falls 2 the 6 seed, Ridgeview the 7 seed, Woodside the 8 seed, and Faith Plaid the 9 seed. So here we are going to see Falls 1, Falls 2, and Ridgeview on CITV. The next quiz you're going to have, which is probably going to be in about 10 minutes, they're telling me. Falls 1, Falls 2, Ridgeview. In the fireplace room, which you can also watch on the different CITV channel. No commentary, so that makes it better. You're going to get the 2, 5, and 8 seed. That's New Testament, McQuantigo, Woodside. New Testament, McQuantigo, Woodside. They're going to be in the fireplace room. You can watch them. Also, sans commentary, which may make it a better thing to watch. And then in the downstairs room, which you can't watch on CITV, you're going to have Old Paths, Falls 3, and Faith Plaid. So that's where we're at right now. 9 teams left. Everyone's going to get a clean slate. The seeds may come into a tiebreaker later. And so if you want to hear them again, I've said it a few times. Falls 1 is the 1 seed, 3-1-0, great record. New Testament 2-2-0, second team without a loss. They are the 2 seed. Old Paths, Falls 3, McQuantigo all had the exact same record. They quizzed, coincidentally, all 3 of them at the same time in the auditorium that you saw on CITV, round 2 of our preliminary. And so the tie is broken the way that quiz fell. Old Paths gets the highest seed, they're the 3. Falls 3 is the 4 seed, and McQuantigo is the 5 seed. Now, it doesn't matter that much between 3 and 4 because they're quizzing each other downstairs. So Old Paths and Falls 3, they're going to quiz each other. So they're going to break that tie on their own downstairs, even though we broke it already. And then you have they're taking away. So take it away. Whoever's taking away, go.
All right, I'm going to make an announcement. What we'll do now, I'll announce teams where they are and their seating. And then I'll give us about a 10-minute break. If you as a team want to meet together and kind of regroup and come up with a strategy or get back on your feet or however you want to do it, take about a 10-minute break just for your sakes, and we'll start the quiz in about 10 minutes. So we have, I'll list the names and the seating based on the preliminaries, and then I'll tell you where you are. First seed is Falls number 1. Second seed is New Testament. Third seed is Old Paths. Fourth seed is Falls 3. Fifth seed is McQuantigo. Sixth seed is Falls 2. Seventh seed is Ridgeview. Eighth seed is Woodside. Ninth seed is Florida Plaid. So that means here in the auditorium will be Falls 1 against Falls 2 against Ridgeview. In the fireplace room will be New Testament against McQuanago against Woodside. In the downstairs room with Colin Baggett will be Old Paths, Falls 3, and Florida Plaid. It is 10:48 now, so let's say at 11 o'clock we'll start the elimination rounds.
All right, so they're going to start these quizzes in 12 minutes. So what did the round robin tell us that we didn't know? I mean, Falls 1 top seed, New Testament 2 seed, Old Paths 3 seed. Those were the predicted top 3 teams on the podcast last night. So the fact that they're the 1, 2, and 3 seeds is not surprising. And the fact that Falls 3 is number 4, as they were predicted to be the team with the best chance of making that, those 4 teams are the top 4 seeds. So that is not surprising. McQuanago was a team we said would have tremendous highs, and because there's only 2 quizzers, just a mediocre quiz from one of them can kind of affect the whole team disproportionately as compared to other teams that have 5 quizzers on the chairs. And so that's where McQuanago, you saw them in this last quiz, tremendous quiz, pull out a high win in great fashion. But by the same token, they struggled to, they struggled in the quiz before where you saw them, because all it takes is a bad quiz from one of them. So this is what you've got when you've got a team with 2 people, but they are the 5 seed. That, again, nothing super surprising yet. Falls 2, being the 6 seed, not incredibly surprising. Ridgeview, the 7 seed. This is the quiz that we're going to see here in the auditorium where we have Falls 1, Falls 2, and Ridgeview. I think it's the quiz of the first round, because I think it's the quiz where we're least likely to see it go chalk. I think you're most likely to see an upset so a different team than one of, what I mean is by ranking, Ridgeview, the 7 seed, should get the low, theoretically. I don't think, I think them getting a low is the least likely of the 7, 8, 9 seeds, which makes sense because they're the 7 seed. The 7 seed you would expect to be better than the 8 and 9 seed. But Falls 2 and Ridgeview going head to head. The question you always have in a situation like this is, if Falls 1 does get out ahead and they can assist Falls 2 in getting that middle, will they? I think they will, and I mean, to some degree I think they should. And so that's where Ridgeview can't let themselves get errors later in the quiz if Falls 1 has a huge lead. If Falls 1 doesn't jump out to a huge lead, obviously they're not going to sacrifice their own loss for the sake of Falls 2. But if Ridgeview and Falls 2 fall behind Falls 1, Ridgeview's in a tight spot because they can't make errors, because Falls 1 would have the ability then to help Falls 2. So, and this is the quiz we're going to see. I'm going to talk about the other 2 quizzes that are going to happen, and we're not going to talk a lot about them because we're not going to see them. But you have the New Testament McQuanago Woodside quiz. If that quiz follows what we call chalk in the business, that means the team with the highest seed gets the high win, the team in the middle seed gets the middle win, and the low team. If it follows chalk, you would have New Testament with the high, McQuanago with the middle, and Woodside with the low. But here's the interesting thing. While New Testament is the highest seed, they have no lows. They have fewer high wins than McQuanago. So I would not be surprised to see a McQuanago team that's really good pull out that high win. It would not be at all surprising if that happened. And that's not to say I think they're necessarily better. I would be very surprised if a New Testament team who has shown themselves to be particularly adept at not getting lows, if they got a low, that would be very surprising. But to see them get a middle where they got the majority of their quizzes would not be surprising, which means you have a variation in the chalk, meaning that it's not necessarily going to flow to rhythm. If that happens, that would then, and the other quizzes do fall chalk, that would then put us in a situation where in the second round, you have 3 of the top 4 seeds competing in when there's still 6 teams without a low. You could have 3 of the top 4 from the pairings quizzing against each other. Could be the top 3, but it's 3 of the top 4. So that sets up, when you have a team who lives off getting the middles and they get a high seed, as they should, because they have no lows, but then they get a middle when they're supposed to get a high. It gives you really, really competitive quizzes really, really early in the tournament. So when we look at how this is flowing, we have the chance of having a top 3 teams quizzing each other in the second round. So that's something to keep an eye out for, and we'll try to keep you abreast of if that's going to happen. And then the last quiz, the Old Paths Falls 3 and the Plaid team, Faith Plaid. Old Paths Falls 3, those are 2 of the top teams. Again, it doesn't matter what I predict. What I predict doesn't matter. But if my prediction, in as much as it reflects the consensus, Old Paths was the consensus top 1 or 2 team. Okay, Falls 3 was a consensus 3 or 4 team, depending upon where you put them in the relative race with New Testament. So if that's the consensus, you have a consensus top 2 team and a consensus top 4 team in the first round meeting. Now, it would be surprising if either of those teams got the low, as they're going against the Plaid team, which has had a less than stellar day. They do so far lead the tournament in errors. So if that's something you're keeping track of, the Faith Plaid team leads the tournament in errors, and that's always something to be proud of. So these are the quizzes we've got. Again, as a guy sitting on the outside saying, what do I think would happen that would be different than chalk, it would not surprise me to see in the quiz we're going to see Ridgeview beat out Falls 2 for that middle. It would not surprise me in the quiz in the fireplace room that you can also watch on CNTV without the commentary to see McQuantico get the high win, New Testament pull a middle. You just saw that happen in here. Now, the third team was not Woodside. It's not a direct repeat, but it wouldn't surprise me to see that happen. And so that would not be surprising. Of course, the 3 and 4 seed, Old Paths, Falls 3, you wouldn't be surprised to see Falls 3 win, but I expect Old Paths to establish themselves, say, hey, look, this is our domain. We're the defending champions. We are a consensus top 2 team. We are not going to allow ourselves to lose ground on that. We want to stake our claim here, plant our flag, and say we are the best team in this tournament. And so that's what you want to see. And so I think that quiz will fall according to chalk. I think Old Paths will get the high, Falls 3 will get the middle. Old Paths, you saw them start slow with the low. Since then, they've gained momentum. They got all the way to the 3 seed, and I think that's a sign of things to come. Their last quiz, I think they had over 300 points, dominant fashion. They are establishing themselves as a top team, a team that you have a chance to beat. So again, we have 9 teams. We now have them ranked 1 to 9 based on preliminary quizzes. Now is when the losses start to count. From here, if you get 2 losses, you are out. Now, we're starting about 11 o'clock. I think we're going to try to get in a couple of rounds before we take a break for lunch. During the lunch break, I don't know what our coverage situation will be. I'll try to find that out, give that to you, because I know just because we're breaking for lunch doesn't mean you don't want to hear about these quizzes. But we are posting content. You should be able to see historical, meaning you can only watch 1 quiz at a time. There's 2 quizzes that you have the opportunity to watch. If one of them goes away and you're not able to, if you saw one and you didn't see the other, that would be a good time to catch up on some quizzes you missed, perhaps. So, really good tournament so far. Great. Look, the top team didn't have all high wins. The difference between the 3rd seed and the 6th seed, that tiebreaker question we had that gone a different way, we could have seen a different distribution of 3rd through 6th. And so that's how tight those seeds are. So one question played a role in the difference of the way 4 teams were seeded. Now, seeding matters, but it's not completely informative, meaning you don't have to be a top seed. A couple people, David Poston and Cullen Baggett, who are both quizmasters, said, this is a tournament where they feel like you could get an 8th seed or a 7th seed and turn that around and become a top 2 or 3 team. Let's look at Ridgeview. Last year, I think they finished 6th or 7th in this tournament. They were the number 1 seed. This year, they're the number 7 seed. Maybe they reverse it and they perform in the tournament and they end up winning it. That's not out of the realm of possibilities. This is a very deep tournament. We like to say it's a grind. All of these kids quizzed 7-8 hours yesterday, and now they're quizzing. They've already had 4 rounds of quizzing today. So this is a quiz that's really going to. We're going to see how that's going, and apparently, I don't know if you guys saw that, but we have a technical team adjustment. I think they're trying to make the camera better, and the fact is I've got a face for radio, and that's nothing we can do about that. I've also been told I got a voice for newspapers, so that's kind of how that goes. But this is what we've got. We've got 9 teams seeded. We're now starting double elimination. So if you're a team like Falls 1 or New Testament, you didn't have any lows throughout the preliminary, if you get a low early, you got to think, why couldn't we have had that bad quiz in the preliminary quizzes? So, but this is exciting. Again, the seeding is not that different than we prognosticated coming into this event. So, and you always want to see. We play the games because they're exciting, and we want the games to be exciting. We don't want that excitement to take over and be more important than rewarding excellence. And when we have excellent teams, we like excellent teams to do well. We like to have enough quizzes where we have the information and say that team actually was the best and they won. We like that. So when we say this is how we think it's going to play out, and it plays out similarly to that, we like it because it means that the tournament is doing what it's supposed to do. And then when you have outliers, a team, well, we didn't expect that team to get where they got, then we know it's not because the tournament was flawed, it's because they were better or worse than we thought. So we're going to send it back to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
Mics. Turn my mic back on. All right, this is the first of the elimination quizzes. It's as if no one did extremely well or extremely poorly this morning. The tournament is very, very competitive. Probably goes at least 7 teams deep where, that's, again, Matt's the prognosticator, but I would say that I think there's 7 teams that could win this tournament.
Sure.
And
well, this is 6 and 7.
Yeah, and this is 6 and 7 right here, and I'm pretty sure 6 and 7 could really mess a lot of people's lives up and probably win the whole thing. So. All right. So let's pray as we get started this afternoon. Lord, thank you for all these young people, for what they have memorized. We ask that. We just ask that you would do what you've already said you would do, and really thank you in advance for the fact that you will not let your word return void in their lives. And we ask this in your name. Amen. All right. This is question number 1. Question number 1. Question. Who said in John 19, number 1...
Shall. The chief priest?
No, I'm sorry. Toss up number 1. That would be Chloe. That's correct. From what I understand, yesterday in the latter rounds of the quizzing in the lower room, they said Mr. West got like 8 questions right, and then he got the answer pilot right 6 times. He just went with it. If it was chapter 19 or chapter 20, or maybe it's 18 or 19, whichever ones it was. You know, so pilot every time he got it. So. All right, question number 2. Question, according to John 11:37, what, number 3, Anna Lynn,
What? Which opened the eyes of the blind? This man which opened the eyes of the blind.
no, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, number 4, Blake.
Cause that even this man should not have died.
Y'all both got like part of the answer, but my question is, what did some of them say? And it's more than what y'all said. So, and as a result, we have a free question for false 2. Who will the Comforter reprove in John 16?
The world.
That is correct. And Angelica, is that right? It's time to go get another set of glasses because things are still not just as clear as they were before. And the way it was working there, it was just kind of going back and forth. And I was trying to read Angelica. All right. Question number 2 repeated. According to John 18:28, number 3, Hannah. Lynn.
Unto the hall of judgment.
20. Question 3. Question. How is he that is, number 2, Stephen?
How is he that is?
Sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. How is he that is washed, number 2, Benjamin?
Clean every whit.
20 points. Question 4. According to John 2:3, what, number 1, Caleb?
They have no wine.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up number 2, Timothy.
When they wanted wine.
That is correct.
Good job. Way to go.
Question 5. According to John 6:38, number 3, Hannah Lynn.
John 6:38. What do I came down from heaven? I came down from heaven.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to John 6:38, why? Number 1, Caleb.
I came to do the will of him that sent me.
Unfortunately, you picked the wrong one. It was the opposite. Why did he not come down from heaven? That was to do his own will. We have a free question for false 2. According to John 2:2, who was called to the marriage?
Both Jesus and his disciples.
Both Jesus and his disciples.
That's correct. Angelica for 10. Question 5 repeated. Question. When did Jesus stand and number one, Jonathan?
The last day, that great day of the feast.
That's correct. Question 6. So finish this verse. Question. Finish this verse. Then went, number 3, Hannah Lynn.
Then went the disciples away again unto their own home.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up question number 2, Benjamin.
Then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that disciple should not die. Yet Jesus said not unto them, He shall not die, but if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee?
You missed one word. Yet Jesus said not unto him, and you said them.
Oh, I really thought I said him.
Did you hear him say them?
He said them.
Yeah.
He said them.
What?
He said them.
Yeah. You heard them. That's what I heard too. So sorry about that. Okay. Free question.
Oh, sorry.
Who said in John 14, Lord, show us the Father, and it sufficeth us? Angelica?
Philip.
That's correct. Angelica's going to end up with more points on her score sheet than everybody else. All right, here we go. Question number 7.
Can I call a timeout?
Or 6, yes, timeout.
Good job, guys. Good job. Smart. Control. We got 3 free.
She's got the most points, right?
You could not ask for a better start than our resident team in the middle. 70 points through 5 questions. That's obviously a great start. So when you get out to a good start like that, that's helpful. Will this take on the feeling of having 2 teams battling for a middle win and 1 team running with high? Well, that's why we're going to watch. And it looks like we're about to turn it over to the Doug. So take it away, the Doug.
All right, time in. This is going to be question number 6. Repeated. Question. Who said, thou bearest, number 1, Jonathan.
Thou bearest, Jesus?
No, I'm sorry, it's incorrect. Toss up. Okay, I've got fouls on both teams. Toss up, number 3, Josh.
The Pharisees.
That is correct. Question number 7 is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. So when they, number 3, Hannah, then?
So when they had dined, Jesus saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto me, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, feed my lambs.
No, I'm sorry. Toss up question number 2.
So when they had rowed about 5 and 20 or 30 furlongs, they
No, I'm sorry. So when they continued asking him, all right, free question. Free question for review. When did Jesus depart from Samaria in John 4? Caleb?
After 2 days.
10 points. Question number 7. Question. To what city of number 2, Stephen?
Sychar.
That is correct.
Good. Perfect.
Question number 8. Question. Who said, Lord, we... Number 2, Stephen.
Lord, we. Thomas.
That is correct. Question 9 is a quote this verse question. Question, quote this verse. John 1:10. Number 2, Stephen.
1:10. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not.
That's correct. Come on, guys. Question 10. It's a reference question. Who said unto him, how can... Number 2, Stephen.
Nicodemus.
That's correct.
Yes.
Question 11. Question. According to John 5:31. Number 2, Stephen.
5:31. My witness. Specifically, is that true?
That is correct.
Time out.
Time out. Review.
Okay. You see how you have Falls, who was behind, running off and now getting 120 points. They're solidly in the first place position. And so we said, will this take on the tenor of a top team running off with a high win? And it doesn't look like that based on what we're seeing right now, unless it's Falls. Falls seems to have done really well. You wonder, now that they're ahead, and we talked about this before the quiz, if Ridgeview makes an error late in the quiz, will Falls 1 assist Falls 2 in getting that middle win? And maybe that's an obvious thing. Will Falls 1 go after toss-ups if Falls 2 makes an earlier? And you don't know. That's something to keep an eye out for, because Falls 1 and Falls 2 have an existing relationship as from the same ministry. So we're about to turn back over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
All right, time in, and this is question number 12. They did ask me, so in case the rest of you didn't hear, right now we have enough questions to finish the quiz with one extra. This is question number 12. Question. Where in John 10 did Jesus, number 1, John? Time?
It's okay, John. It's okay. Help him out.
Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Where in John 10 did Jesus, number 3, Hannah Lynn?
Did Jesus,
Sorry,
vote?
about time. Answer was, where did he escape? And it was out of their hand. Free question. What was the number of the men in John 6? Caleb?
About 10,000.
No, I'm sorry. About 5,000. All right. This is quite...
You just added 10 points for a free.
Yeah. You give him 20, but
Okay, so there's 2 of you in this room that believe in the feeding of the 10,000. Okay. Well, I know, but we were being very specific, men only, so. Not men, women, and children, and what is your best estimate? That sounds like some sort of, some sort of new math sort of problem.
West had a question, and it was how many firkins, and you had to do math. It was 12 to 18. You had to take the 6 water pots, then multiply it by the 2 or 3 firkins.
That sounds like, if you don't know this, Matt is good at a lot of things. He is really great at math. That is what he is the greatest at.
He just walked in. So
I know I said something nice about him. I didn't realize he was in the room. I wouldn't have done that. All right, question number 12 repeated. Question. Who was called Number 2, Stephen.
Thomas.
That's correct. All right.
All right, Junior. Good job.
Yeah, he tried to let everybody else play for a moment and then decided, no, we got to take it back over here. So. All right. Question number 13. Question. According to John, okay, I have a foul on false 2. Question. According to John 1:33, number 4, Blake.
According to John 1:33, thou shalt see the Spirit descending from heaven, descending and remaining on him, same as he which baptizeth with the Holy Ghost.
That is correct. Question number 14. Question. What hour in number 3?
The 6th hour.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What hour in John 16, number 5? Sophia?
That you should be scattered. Specifically, every man to his own.
One second.
Not to be too redundant, but I really need that thought bubble of what he's thinking when he's looking these up. We have a question here that can make a big difference in the outlook. And as we suggested, falls 1, which says falls 2 on the score sheet, which probably should be fixed, says they're out to the early lead, and you have falls 2 and Ridgeview battling for the middle win. Will falls 1 play a role to see who gets the middle win? Stay tuned.
No, I'm sorry, I can't accept that. Do I need to ask the toss-up? That was the toss-up. You did well by adding what you added, but you really needed to finish out the thought. There's 3 parts to what that hour is. It's the hour that we're going to be scattered, every man to his own, and the hour when they were going to leave Jesus alone. So you needed all of that.
Okay, Sophia. Good try.
All right, free question for Falls 1. Question. Who in John 7 marveled?
The Jews.
Charity?
The Jews.
Correct for 10.
Okay, time out, Falls 1.
Yeah, and this is going to be question 14 repeated, and we've only got, I think, 5 questions left. Is that right?
All right. We have 5 questions left, and when you have 5 questions left, it doesn't matter what question number it is. You have 2 teams tied. This is the exact scenario we thought might happen. Falls 1 gets out to the big lead. They can play a role in who gets the middle. Will it be Falls 2 or will it be Ridgeview? If Ridgeview makes the error, I'm confident Falls 1 will sit back, and Falls 2 will likely hear that question on the toss-up. What I don't know is if Falls 2 makes an error and then Ridgeview has the opportunity for the toss-up. Will Falls 1 go after that aggressively? I don't know, but I'm anxious to see that. This is what makes these kind of quizzes exciting. Falls 1, they're probably cinched with the high. 5 questions to go, 2 teams, tie 50-50, everyone's in the air zone, all airs are -10, all correct +20. This is why we watch the games, and this is why we're about to turn it over to the Doug, but it looks like he's going to take a few more seconds, so we're good on that. They're making the announcement, for those of you who aren't here, that you're not allowed to walk through the fellowship hall. You're not allowed to walk through the fellowship hall. And so with that in mind, I think that's taken a little more time to get that announcement delivered. But it's now, the Doug is now ready to take it over, so take it away, the Doug.
Out so that up there on the scoreboard you just can't lose. Yeah, see that? You're up there listed twice. Now it says Falls 1 up there in the other thing. We had somebody come and ask, who's actually winning this quiz? And it's like,
Oh, wow.
Falls 2 is winning and tied for the low. So anyway. All right, here we go. So we have got, we can actually 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's where it cuts off right now. Okay, this is question 14 repeated. Question, according to John 9:1, whom did number 2, Benjamin?
A man which was blind from his birth.
That is correct.
Come on, guys, be aggressive.
All right, and I'm going to tell you this now before I forget. When this quiz is over, even if you quiz in the fireplace room, you're supposed to go down and around because they're closing off the upstairs area to get ready for lunch. And we're more concerned that some of y'all might stop off for lunch and not get to the next quiz. All right, here we go. Question number 15. According to John 15:19, out. Number 1.
Out of the world.
That's correct. 3 seconds to spare.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
We're already there, so we're just continuing the air zone as we go to question 16. Question. When did Jesus in John 21 stand? Number 2, Benjamin.
When the morning was now come.
That is correct.
Nice.
You guys right there.
Question 17. So quote this verse question. Question. Quote this verse. John 15, number 5, Sophia.
John 15:19. If you were of the world would love his own, but because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
That is correct.
Good job, Sophia.
Okay, we have 2 questions left. This is number 18. Question number 18 is a reference question. What have they known according to John 17, number 1, Jonathan?
That all things whatsoever that was given me are of thee.
That is correct. Final question, question 19. This is a reference question. What did Jesus answer and say according to John 12:30, number 3, Hannah Lynn?
This voice came not because of me, but for your sakes.
That is correct. Yes. All right, Ridgeview, come back strong. Good high wind for Falls.
All right, we got our answer. Falls 1 assisted Falls 2 by getting that last question. So Falls 1 gets the high win. Can't be too terribly surprising. Falls 2 gets the middle win. Not terribly surprising, but I think more people would have picked Ridgeview to get the middle in that. But playing out by the seeds, Falls 2 should have got the middle. They did get the middle. And then Ridgeview with the low. So that means that Falls 1 just got the high win. You're going to see them in here again. Falls 2 just got the middle win. They're going to go to the fireplace room, which you can also see on CI TV. And then participating in the last quiz that you will not be able to watch on CI TV, the last quiz downstairs in the toddler room, we have from this quiz we have Ridgeview, and I think I heard that Ridgeview, Woodside, and the Plaid team are going to be the 3 teams in that quiz. So exciting tournament, doing really well. We're starting here, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know who the 3 teams in this quiz are going to be. I know Falls 1 is one of them. Let's see if I was delivered the stats to see. Okay, I don't have the score, so I'm going to see if they'll send them to me. So anyway, so we know Falls 1 is going to be in this quiz. We do not know about the other 2 teams yet, but some of you, if any of you are following along on Twitter or something and can let me know, feel free to let me know that. So maybe we can see who's walking in the room, and that will be informative. But do we know who the other teams in this quiz are going to be? We don't. Okay. All right. So we know Falls 1 is in here. That much we know. They're going to have first choice of seeding, or I guess they're however they're doing it. Falls 1 is the top seed in this quiz. So that's what we got. All right. We will let you know the information as soon as we have it. That quiz was interesting. You had Falls 2 get off to a great start, and I believe that's what carried them through. That early start, and then when Falls 1 got going in the middle, and they overtook and they had the high wind sort of wrapped up, Falls 2 was in a position to benefit from some calls. You saw a situation where Ridgeview missed an initial question. Falls 1 was not competitive on the toss-up. You saw a situation where Falls 2 took a lead. Falls 1 got aggressive on the initial question. They were definitely helping Falls 2, so that's great. I more power to them. And so they're there. Falls 2 avoids a low. They're going to be in the fireplace room, and they're going to quiz a couple teams. Again, we don't know who those teams are yet, but someone has to know because some of those quizzes are definitely over. So we know something.
Falls 1, 3, and New Testament.
Okay, it looks like Falls 3 and New Testament were the winners, which makes sense. Those are the 2 and 4 seeds. We did not expect. I believe I addressed this exact thing when I said, when before we had the quizzes, I said New Testament is a great team, but they're really camping out on middles today. And so when they're the 2 seed and the 5 seed is Mukwonago, a team that while they were the lower seed had more high wins than New Testament, it would not be at all surprising for Mukwonago to get the high in that quiz. And what that does is that puts, we said 3 of the top 4 seeds could be in the same quiz, and it looks like that's what we have. The 1 seed of Falls 1, the 2 seed of New Testament, and the 4 seed of Falls 3. I'm just now getting some feedback. I hear that in the other room we have Old Paths, Mukwonago, and we know that Falls 2 is the 3rd team in there. So Old Paths, Mukwonago, and Falls 2, and it looks like we have Ridgeview, Woodside, and the Florida or the Faith Plaid team in the last quiz. You will not be able to watch on CI-TV. Remember, when you go to CI-TV, there's 2 options. There's this one, which they're calling the main option. That's where you get commentary in addition to the quiz. The other channel is simply the quizzes in the fireplace room, no commentary added. Maybe that makes it better for you, and that's great if it does. But so that's what we have. So I am hearing that that is in fact the situation, that we're going to have Falls 1, New Testament, and Falls 3. Falls 1, Falls 3, New Testament. So let me reiterate what we just talked about when Falls 1 and Falls 2 were going against Ridgeview. Falls 1 is a good enough team that sometimes they get the opportunity to get a lead and potentially assist in their second team, in this case Falls 3. You would call them their 3rd team, although in my prediction I predicted Falls 3 to do slightly better. So they may have the opportunity to help them. We will see if that plays out. Now, I think both New Testament and Falls 3 are a little stronger than the teams we just saw, so it's going to be harder to accomplish, but who knows? That they may do that. So that's something to be on the lookout for. Will there be cooperation between Falls 1 and Falls 3? New Testament, me being from Florida, having a Florida bias, I'm always hoping they do well. Do we know when that quiz is going to start? I don't know, so we'll go ahead and talk about it. This quiz, okay, take it away, the Doug.
Wow. I just saw something happen I'd never seen happen before. I pushed the reset button, let you all jump, and turned around, and the reset button popped right off on the table. So I hadn't seen that happen before.
Join the club.
And apparently it screws back in. I thought maybe it popped back in.
Oh, really?
So,
Well.
I couldn't get it to stay in until I actually started doing righty tighty. So, and then it worked. Okay. All right. We are ready to get started. Let's see. I think we're on. Not positive, but here we go. Actually, let me make sure. 14 lights, please. Yeah, I'd hate to find out that when the reset button came out that everything quit working. So, question 1. It's a reference question. Question. What has happened because I have said number 2, Sydney?
Sorrow hath filled your heart.
That's correct.
Right.
It's wild. We had a question in one of the earlier quizzes today that started with sorrow, the same verse, I think. Question number 2 is a quote this verse question. Question. Quote this verse, John 4:4. Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
John 4:14. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be into a well of water, springing up into everlasting life.
Good. Question 3 is a quote this verse question. Question. Quote this verse, John 2:11. Number 3.
John
Ben.
2:11. This beginning of miracles that Jesus in Cana of Galilee and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him.
That is correct. Question 4. Question. Why would Jesus declare number 2, Stephen?
The glory shall his name be in them, and I in them.
Can you repeat what you said?
The glory shall his name be in them, and I in them.
I need you to slow down, step up to the mic and say it.
Speak up.
The glory which thou gavest me be in them, and I in them.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question remain number 2, Sydney.
That the love wherewith thou hast loved me may be in them, and I in them.
That's correct. All right, question number 5. Question. Where must Jesus needs, number 1,
Go through
Carson.
Samaria.
That's correct. Question number 6, according to John 9:31. Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
John 9:31. Who? If any man be a worshiper of God and doeth his will, him he heareth.
Correct? Question number 7 is a reference question. Question. What do I verily, verily say unto you, according to John 8:50. Number 1, Carson.
Abraham. Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 1, Chloe.
Before Abraham was, I am.
Wow, there must be a bunch of those in the 50-verse range. It's verse 51 is what I was looking for. If a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. All right, free question for false 2. According to John 3:4, what 2 questions did Nicodemus ask? All right, Gabe.
How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?
That is correct. All right, we are repeating question 7, and it is a finish this verse question. Question, finish this verse. Ye are my number 4, Thomas.
Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you.
That's correct. Question number 8, according to John 1:50, number 2, Caleb.
John 1:50.
Because I said they saw the near the fig tree. You said.
No, I'm sorry, that's an error. Toss up number 3.
Thou shalt see greater things than these.
That is correct. Good job, Nathaniel. Question number 9. According to John 12:25, number 3, Hannah Lynn.
John 12:25. He that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
That is correct. Question number 10. Question. Who would Jesus, number 2, Stephen?
Who would Jesus have? Is he also just going to be with me where I am?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Who would Jesus in no wise, number 1, Carson?
Him that cometh to me.
That is correct. Question 11. So finish this verse. Question. Finish this verse. He that speak, number 4, Thomas.
He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory, but he that seeketh his glory that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him.
That is correct. Question 11. According to John 13:14, what? Number 4, Thomas.
14, what? Master and Lord. Lord and Master.
Sorry, that's an error. Toss-up question number 3, Hannah Lynn.
You also to wash one another's feet.
That's correct.
Nice job.
Yeah, I was wrong last time. This is question number 13. Question. Who had set to his number 1, Carson?
Set to his seal. He that hath received his testimony.
20.
John.
Question 14. Question. How long was this number 2, Stephen?
How long was this? Not unto death?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. How long was this temple, number 4, Thomas?
40 and 6 years.
That's correct. Question 15. Question. According to John 18:31, number 4, Thomas.
1831. What? Take ye him and judge him according to your law.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to John 18:31, what? Number 3, Hanlin.
What did? It is not lawful for us to put anyone to death.
That's correct. All right. So now, New Testament, you will join 2 false teams in the error zone. Question 16. According to John 14:18, number 4, Thomas.
How? I will not leave you comfortless.
That is correct. Yes.
I think time was out before.
in my judgment, I had not completely said the word how, and so I allowed him to finish that as the start of his time. Question number 17. Question. Where were the two angels, number 4, Thomas?
The one at the head and the other at the feet where the body of Jesus had lain.
That is correct.
Time out.
Time out for falls 2. Or 1.
All right. All right, 3 questions left. Falls 2, or Falls 3, I'm sorry, in a very, very good position. The only way, they can only be tied for the low. They cannot get the low outright in 20 questions. So they will probably be very cautious after being aggressive on the last 2 questions. New Testament, 1 question will cinch them into a win of some sort. Falls 1 is in the toughest position, so you can expect to see them the most aggressive. They also have the most quizzers capable of being aggressive and getting questions right. They've got Hannah Lynn and Stephen Jr., and that's a really strong team. But by seeding, these are 3 of the top 4 teams, so they're all very good. One thing we know is that one of these teams will have a loss in about 5 minutes, and I don't know that that's something that anybody would have expected, one of the top 4 teams to have a loss that quickly. We're going to turn over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
Time in. Question number 18. Question. Among whom was there a number 1, Carson?
Division. Among the Jews.
20. Question number 19. Question. Who was grieved? Number 2, Stephen.
Peter?
That is correct. Question number 20. Question. According to John 19:7, number 3, Ben.
19:7 what? What did?
Ooh, aggressive move. I like it.
Time. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. According to John 19:7, what did the Jews say Jesus had? Hannah Lynn.
Because he made himself the Son of God.
That is correct. All right, so falls 2.
Falls 3.
Excuse me, falls 1,
Oh, what?
pulls it out. I keep looking up at the board and it keeps screaming at me, falls 2, and I don't know why it's that way, but anyway, falls 1, pulls out the middle there with that last answer. New Testament, got the good solid high, solidified that on question 19, and falls 2. That's a tough one, but come back strong, come back strong. Good job, everyone.
All right, New Testament.
And Hannah Lynn quizzed out on that question as well.
Hannah Lynn quizzing on that question. That's something that happens quite frequently. New Testament, who's been camping out on middles all day, decides to finally get a high. And in so doing, they give false 3. But this discussion came up amongst the people that were sitting around philosophizing about that last question. Once falls 2 missed it, they had a 10-point lead on falls 1. If you're New Testament, do you go ahead and do you go ahead and try to get that to give falls 1 a low? There was disagreement on the panel. I think I side on I would have been slightly more aggressive than they were. Now, falls 1 didn't just sit back and let the whole question get out, but they did let more than you would see if they knew New Testament were competing for that question. So it's just an interesting point to consider. A lot of this discussion, when you have 3 teams involved, comes down to, does this team care who does the other? And we are seeing that New Testament doesn't. They don't fear falls 1. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not. But they had the opportunity to try with very little risk to themselves, by the way, because they would have lost 10 points. They still would have been up. But, they could have gotten up when falls got up and had a 95% chance of getting it, and giving Falls 1, the number 1 seed, a low. Instead, we have Falls 3, the 4 seed, getting a low at this point. So I don't know what's happening in the McQuantigo Falls 2 Old Paths quiz, but if you flip over to CI-TV, the other channel, you can see that quiz, what's going on of it. The next quiz you're going to have in here are 2 teams from that quiz that we're talking about that we don't know what's happening. So if you want to get a preview, go watch that quiz on the other CI-TV channel. The 2 of them are going to quiz against the team who just got who just got a middle in here, which is Falls 1. I told you New Testament decides to finally get a high win on the time where it gets you a bye. So they were judicious and didn't get their high win until the bye came about. Do we know what's going on in that room?
It's 16, question 16, 80, 150, 60.
Okay, so we have 80 for McQuantigo, 150 for Old Paths, and 60 for Falls 2. So it looks like Old Paths, 160, they're kind of settled into that high win. 80-50, McQuantigo and Falls 2 competing for that middle and low. So that's what we've got here. We got, it looks like Old Paths is going to be in this next quiz with either McQuantigo and Falls 2. The other one of those teams will have a low, and we'll see how that goes. And from now on, every quiz you will be able to watch on either this CI-TV channel or the other CI-TV channel. So you can watch every quiz, and if you're trying to catch up, you can flip over and do away with some of my commentary, which you may appreciate. That quiz did not follow the pattern I said could be danger for New Testament, where Falls 1 gets a big lead, maybe they have a chance to determine. And of course, when you have 3 of the top 4 seeds, you don't expect that in the same way you would if it were some lower seeds involved in that quiz. That went down to the nitty gritty, and Falls 1 and Falls 2 were the ones battling it out when New Testament had clinched it. And they'd come close to clinching after 15 questions. Okay, it looks like Woodside is looking in
It's 150,
below.
20, 160, and like 60.
Okay, it's 150 and 160 for Ridgeview and the Faith Pod team, and then Woodside looks like they're going to get the low. They have 20 points, so it looks like Woodside might be the first victim of their own home tournament. And they had such a great day yesterday, and then they almost beat out Ridgeview for that 7 seed in the round robin. They won the head-to-head, but then the record thing was a little different. But just a great couple days for Woodside. It's a shame that has to come to an end, but everyone's day except for one team will end on a low, and that's just the reality of it. When you have a competitive event, only one team ends the day positive, but you can't all just take away that last experience. We had this discussion in the room. Those of you who have never been here, first of all, you need to come sometime. This is this great tournament, CI. But there's a judges room over here, and I was listening in on the conversation so I could report some stuff to do. And one of the things they were talking about is a team who gets a low immediately gets a bye. And you say, well, that's weird. And this is where you have to say we're not judging just based on the last event. We're judging based on the totality of the day. And this is where you have to say, well, we may have been eliminated first, but we're not judging it based on that quiz. We're judging it based on 2 days worth of quizzing extravaganza where we did well on a variety of things. So it looks like I'm not going to get that update I thought I was going to get. But it looks like in the winners bracket quiz, Old Paths has the high, McQuantigo and Falls 2 are fighting for the middle, and it looks like that quiz may have just finished. So hopefully I'll get an update soon on the Old Paths quiz, and I've got one. Okay, Falls 2 pulls out the mid, McQuantigo with the low, and of course Old Paths with the high, which we kind of pseudo-reported that earlier. So the 3 teams in this quiz are going to be Falls 2, Falls 1, and Old Paths. Old Paths, Falls 1, and Falls 2. I said coming in, I thought Old Paths, Falls 1, top 2 teams. The next 2 teams, Falls 3 and New Testament. Falls 3 just got a low, but Old Paths and Falls 1 in this quiz with Falls 2, that's a really hard draw for a Falls 2 team. Good team, not necessarily. It looks like in the downstairs quiz, the last quiz you won't be able to watch on CI-TV, so we're excited about that, where we have the 2 channels this year. We have Ridgeview, Woodside, and Faith Platte. It looks like Woodside's got the low, and Ridgeview and Faith Platte are competing for the high or the middle. Now you say, well, doesn't make that much of a difference. Here's the difference it makes. In that quiz, the team who gets the high is guaranteed at least a 7th place finish. The team who gets the middle, they could get higher than that. They could they could win the tournament, but they have to go and compete in the very next quiz, could get 8th if they lose that quiz. So what difference does it make, the high and the middle? Last score update we had, Faith Platte had a 10-point advantage with 3 questions to go on Ridgeview. So those two teams are going head to head. And the high winner gets the bye, and we may have a more. Ridgeview got the high, so they pulled out the high, and Faith Platte got the middle, and Woodside, unfortunately, is out. So the quiz that you can see on the other CITV channel is going to be Faith Platte, McQuantigo, and Falls 3. Falls 3, McQuantigo, and Faith Platte. So that's going to be a great quiz. McQuantigo, 2 quizzers. It's tough because they are a team that when David and Lydia are both cooking, they can beat anybody. But it just takes a mediocre quiz from one of them to hurt the team. It's so hard with a 2-person team, and those of you who have been watching Bible Quiz for a while, you know that it's hard on a 2-person team to be effective when that happens. Now, the quiz in here again is Falls 1, Falls 2, and Old Paths. Falls 1, Falls 2, Old Paths. This much we know. New Testament has a bye. They're probably going to come to lunch here in a few minutes, and I'm smelling the lunch. It sounds great. I know that none of you at home want to hear about that. And then we just mentioned Ridgeview has the bye in the losers bracket. So Ridgeview and New Testament, they may be eating early. And the quiz we have in the auditorium, Falls 1, Falls 2, and Old Paths. Falls 1, Old Paths meeting this early, you know how that's going to go. And I'm hearing that we're about to start that quiz. Is that right? Someone will probably say something quickly. That quiz, and the quiz now in the fireplace room, an elimination quiz. You can also watch this on CITV if you're so inclined. The Faith Platte team, the McQuantigo team, and the Falls 3 team. So those 3 teams going at it head to head. If you're a fan of Ridgeview or New Testament, breathe easy. They have a bye, and I think we're going to do lunch at the end of this round, so teams might be motivated to go a little quickly. And lunch is always encouraging for me, at least. I don't know. So we have 9 teams. 1 has been eliminated. There's 8 teams left. You have one of those teams. 4 of those teams, I should say. Sorry, 4 of those teams don't have a low yet. 1 of them has a bye, New Testament. So we know that after this quiz, New Testament and 2 other teams will be left without a low. The 3 teams up for being in that 2-team group are Falls 1, Falls 2, Old Paths. Now, for those of you who have been following along, Falls 1 and Old Paths are the teams I thought would get 1st and 2nd. So we're asking them to compete this early. That's always, it's always dicey when you have those quizzes early. Falls 2 has just been middling through the tournament. They got 2 middles in the tournament portion. They had half of their quizzes in the preliminary quizzes were also middles. So we have some balance there. We have those teams going, and well, hey, we're going to keep talking because that's what we got here. Now, so there's 4 teams with a low. Ridgeview of those has the bye, so they're going to breathe easy. You got McQuantigo, you got Falls 3, and Faith Platte. Faith Platte is the team that you would expect to lose that quiz. They're the lowest of those 3 seeds. You have Falls 3 and McQuantigo, who are the 4 and 5 seeds. And so those are the teams you'd expect to win that. One of those teams will be eliminated. I think we're going to do lunch after. But whatever we're going to do, we're going to turn it over to the Doug and let him explain it from here. So take it away, the Doug.
So the three teams that are in here, none of you have lost, is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, yes, almost. Probably almost everyone can say almost. Everybody have something a little bit closer for comfort than you preferred? I think it's gonna be like that the whole tournament, so. All right. So let's see, in the other rooms, Woodside got eliminated, is that right? Okay, so then we've got Faith Plaid and Ridgeview and Falls 2. Falls 3, excuse me, you can't, Falls 2, somebody, Falls, whatever, Falls 3, there we go, yeah. We have 2 Falls 2s and then a Falls J that is really Falls 3, and I'm supposed to keep all this straight. And then I guess one other team probably got a loss too in that last round. Who got a loss downstairs? Quantico, okay, so 4 teams with a loss. Okay. I'm telling you what, Terry Lana, I've even said your name right consistently, and you want me to turn your light on. I can't believe it. All right. Only took me 3-4 years to get it right. Finally this year, she'll probably tell me afterwards you're still saying it wrong. So. All right, let's get started. This is question number 1. Question, according to John 11:4, for what? Number 3, Annalyn.
For what? For for the glory of God. The sickness is for the glory of God.
I'm sorry, it's incorrect. Toss-up question number 4, Alyssa.
For the glory of God.
One moment, please. I'm not going to accept that. I would have had to take it from her. It's for what was his sickness? It is for the glory of God, but it's more than that. It's the glory of God that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. You need to say the whole thing for it to answer the question I had, which was for what was his sickness. This is a free question for Falls 2. What was wound in linen clothes with the spices in John 19? Number 5, Sophia.
The body of Jesus.
10.
Good job. All right.
Question 1 repeated. It's a reference question. What could they not do now, according to John 16, number 1?
You cannot bear them now.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss up number 3.
Cannot bear them now, them referring to the many things that Jesus had yet to say unto them.
That's correct.
Have it stand out.
Yes. I also had a foul in Old Paths like flickered before
I just want to
release.
see, and I've seen it happen with you several times. This is sometimes we're confident in our answer, but there's 30 seconds. You could have gotten that one if you just take your time and make.
2. Question. When had Jesus kept number 4?
While I was in the world.
Say that again, please.
While I was in the world.
That is correct.
Good job. Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
appeal. I believe the verse says, while I was with them in the world, and I believe that she should have added with them to her answer to specify.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and interrupt you. Them was in the question that you didn't hear, and that's when I started to look, because I agreed with you, and then I'm like, uh-oh, no, them is in the question, so it didn't have to be in the answer.
Good job.
Okay, question number 3. Question. When is that wine, number 4, Alyssa?
When men have well drunk.
That's correct.
Good job. Great job.
Question 4. Question. Who said to Jesus? Number 2, Ben.
Who said to Jesus, his disciples?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. Who said to Jesus, Lord? Number 2, Stephen.
Judas, mercifully not Iscariot.
No, I'm sorry. This would have been from John 13:36. It was Simon Peter. Free question for Falls 2. According to John 16:3, why will they do these things unto you? Yes, ma'am.
Because they have not known the Father nor me.
That's correct.
Good job.
Question number 4 repeated. Question. What have we received? Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
In John 1. And grace for grace.
That's correct. Question number 5. Question. According to John 7:21. What? Number 4, Alyssa.
I have done one work.
That is correct.
Good job.
Question 6. According to John 19:20. In number 3, Hannah Lynn.
John 19:20. In what? In Hebrew and Greek and Latin.
That's correct. Question 7. Question. What hath the Father? Number 2, Stephen.
All things.
Sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What hath the Father in John 5 commit? Number 2, Ben.
Committed, all judgment.
That is correct. Question number 8 is a finish this verse question. Question. Finish this verse. It is number 3, Hannah Lynn.
It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. Every man therefore that hath heard and hath learned of the Father cometh unto me.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Toss-up question number 1. Jonathan?
It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit. They are spirit and they are life.
That is correct. Question number 9. Question. What did others, number 4, Alyssa?
Others said this is a Christ.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Okay, I'm letting it go, but don't jump, okay, because I got to let go because people's lights started flickering before I even got it pushed down there. Okay. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What did others say in John 12, number 5, Sophia?
That it thundered?
No, the key there is the word others, and the answer is an angel spake to him. We have a free question for Falls 1. According to John 5:41, where do I not receive honor?
I receive it from men.
Number 1, Chloe.
From men.
It's Craig for 10. Question number 9. Question. Who is the Number 4, Alyssa.
The Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost.
That's correct. Question 10. Question. Who openeth? Number 4, Alyssa.
Porter.
That is correct.
May I make an appeal?
Yes.
I believe she said, he is not used in the verse referring to, the porter, and I believe she should not have gotten more time on that.
Well, this is one of those things where the equipmaster has to make a discretionary decision as to whether or not, are you with me, or are you?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. I don't say this very often, but, I'm the one who has to make the decision, and, would appreciate it if you just look at me, and when I start to make a decision that goes against you, that you not turn your head and look back around like that, because it seemed like you might have been disagreeing with me, okay? I might be wrong, but I have to make the call, and my decision was to let it go. I actually turned over here to double check, to see whether or not I was gonna let it stand, and I had already decided that before. So, thank you for the challenge, and let's move on. All right, question number 11 is a quote this verse question. Question, quote this verse. John 19, number 3, Lydia.
19. For these things were done, that the scripture should be fulfilled, the bone of him shall not be broken.
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question number 1.
Then Pilate took Jesus and scourged him.
No, I'm sorry. It was verse 23. We have a free question over here. According to John 2:22, what did they believe? Stephen?
Scripture and the word of Jesus, that's it.
That is correct.
I'll let time out.
Time out.
This quiz is looking very good for Old Paths. 110, usually somewhere around 130 is going to be enough to get you a win of some sort. So if you're Old Paths, you got to feel really, really good about your situation. When that happens, and you have Falls 2 and Falls 1 going head to head, you always wonder how these intramural things play out. So you have Falls 1 with the edge, and you think they're the better team. You think they would survive. But that's why we watch the game. So let's turn over to the Doug. Take it away, the Doug.
Okay, we're back here with question 11 repeated. It is a finish this verse question, finish this verse. For the law, number 4, Alyssa.
For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ.
That is correct. Good job. And that's a quiz out. All right, question. All right, this is question number 12. According to John 18:18, what? Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
Why? For it was cold.
That would be a good choice for outside today. So that's funny. We were talking about the fact that there's so much mention of fire in the Bible, and there's not a lot of mentions of cold. But this might be the only time that cold is mentioned in all of John. Anything even do with cold. Question number 13. Question. Who also did Jesus, number 3, Hannah Lynn.
Who also did Jesus say that
No, I'm sorry, good try. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, who also did Jesus say they would have, number 1, Jonathan?
The Father.
$20 points. Yes.
It says in there, my Father, if you don't should have been my Father also. Maybe it should have been more clear.
It's a full reference question. It said, who did Jesus? He said the Father. So, the best way I can say it is that if you were talking about your father, you might say my father, but you might just say Father. You know, if you were talking about somebody else's father, you would probably be very clear to delineate. I'm talking about, I started to say Hannah Lynn's father, but that's actually the same, isn't it? So, all right. Question number 14. All right, here we go. This is a reference question. Question. What did Jesus say unto his disciples according to John 6, number 3? Hannah Lynn.
according to John 6, will you also go away?
No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question. What did Jesus say unto his disciples according to John 6:12? Number 2, that would be Timothy.
Gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost.
That is correct.
Way to go.
Question 15. Question 15. According to John 9:24, what? Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
What? John 9:24. What did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes?
No, I'm sorry. Hang on just a second. No, I'm sorry. Toss-up question, remaining teams. Question, according to John 9:24, what did they say? Number 3,
What did they say?
Naomi.
Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
Somebody called timeout. Okay, all pass.
If you are Falls 1, you have 5 questions left to make your case. If you get 3 questions, first of all, if I'm Old Paz, I am not standing up. If I'm Old Paz, I do not get up because you cannot lose. You'll get a middle win, but you can't lose. And right now, the difference between a middle win and a high win is essentially nothing. So if I'm Old Paz, I sit there. Now there's 5 questions left. You're 2 questions down if you're Falls 1. That means you got to get 4 of the 5. If you're Falls 2, you're 2 questions up with 5 to go. You got to get 2 of the 5. So Falls 2 has a 2-question edge. Now, will Old Paz participate in these questions? I would not if I were them, but they don't ask my opinion. But we're going to turn over to the Doug and watch it happen. Take it away, the Doug.
Testing. All right, hopefully y'all can hear me. This is question number 16. Everyone's in the error zone. I guess we all have been there. We just haven't all lost points yet. Question 16. Question. Where did Nicodemus ask, number one, Jonathan?
The second time in his mother's womb and be born.
That is correct. Question 17. According to John 4:51, what? Number 3, Hannah Lynn.
What thy son liveth?
That is correct. Question number 18 is a quote this verse question. Question, quote this verse. John 12:30, number 3, Hannah Lynn.
John 12:32. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me.
That is correct. That's a quiz out. Question number 19. According to John 15:8, number 2, Stephen.
There is my Father glorified that ye bear much fruit.
No, I'm sorry, that's an error. Toss up question number 5, Sophia.
So shall you be my disciples?
That is correct. Question number 20. According to John 20:20, what did Jesus, number 5, Josh?
John 20:20. What did Jesus? He showed him his hands and his side.
That is correct. All right, Falls 1. Come back strong.
Good job. Good job.
You know, way most of the tournaments have come lately, whoever gets there without a loss hasn't been winning the tournament. So, you know,
Yeah, we're fine.
as long as you got just one, you're fine.
Is your elbow okay?
All right, if you would have told me going into lunch the only team of Falls without a low is Falls 2, I would have not believed that. But here we are, Falls 2, New Testament, and Old Paths without a low. Those are the 3 teams we're going to see right after lunch. I don't know what you guys are going to see for lunch here on CITV, but that's who we got. We have 7 teams left. So in the quiz that you can also watch on the other channel on CITV, you're going to have Ridgeview, you're going to have Falls 3 and Falls 1. So Ridgeview, Falls 3, and Falls 1, if I'm reading this correctly. Ridgeview, Falls 3, and Falls 1 are going to go in the loser's bracket match. One of those teams will be eliminated, and then we'll be down to the top 6. Once you have the top 6, you start integrating teams without a low and teams with a low. So that's what we're looking at here. So we know who 4 of the 6 teams will be. We don't know between Ridgeview, Falls 1, Falls 3, which of those teams will be alive when we get down to the final 6. The 3 teams left without a low are New Testament, Falls 2, Old Paths. They're going to quiz in this channel of CITV, where you have it. The 2 winners will join the now receiving a bye McQuanago, and the 2 winners from the losers bracket quiz. There will be 6 left after that. So we have 7 teams left now. We'll have one team eliminated in the next round we do, which will be after lunch, so probably about a half hour. And then after that, we start integrating teams with lows and teams without lows. So we are one quiz away from where there's not a loser's bracket and a winner's bracket per se. And that's what we're looking at. So again, the 7 teams left without a low, New Testament, Old Paths, and Falls 2. And again, if you would have told me beforehand, there's 3 Falls teams, 2 of them are left with a low, 1 without, I would not have guessed Falls 2 would be the surviving team. But they did, and that quiz went really well. Old Paths got the early lead, then they sat there because they had clinched the middle, which a lot of teams look at the math and they neglect to see some options. And what I'm saying by that is both of the other 2 teams can't get all the questions. So, you know, if you're 30 points up and there's 3 questions to go, you're like, well, there's 60 points left. We could get caught. Well, no, one of the teams could get 40 and the other team could get 20. You could get the middle win. And it's much more important to preserve that middle win than it is to go for that high win. For those of you who are watching the other channel on CI TV, that was an exciting quiz. There's some debate as to what happened in the end there. McQuantico ran away with the high win. You had Falls 3 and Faith Plaid battling it out for a middle win, and Falls 3 got the tiebreaker question to make that happen. So that was a good quiz coming down. We have 7 teams left, and this tournament, you know, I would be interested to talk to some quizzers, and hopefully we'll get some quizzers to come over here in a little bit. They're all, I know you guys can't see, but they're all over there, and maybe we can get 1 or 2 of them, particularly people who've quizzed in the past. I'd like to hear the comparison of what it's like where you quizzed last year, where you quizzed from like 6 to 10 p.m. versus this year where you quizzed all day. There was a lot more time of quizzing, but it was mixed teams. It was a little bit of a different style. I wonder if the extra time makes it more grueling, or the fact that it was a different style or whatever makes it less grueling. And there's no way to know without talking to some of the people who are doing it. And everyone's going to react differently to that, so we'll see how that goes. But look, the thing that separates this from all the tournaments is it is a grind. To get to the point where we are, to get to where, you know, to get here, the volume of quizzing that these kids have done is just extraordinary. It's a lot of quizzing that these kids have done, just a tremendous amount. And so when you're at the grind of it, you wonder who's going to have the mental fatigue, who's going to break down. And these are things that, you know, you can't quantify all the time. You wonder. Falls 1, top seed, got a win, got the middle on a quiz where, in a quiz where New Testament finally gets high on, I think it was a tiebreaker question, maybe the last question of the quiz. And so they're forced to have another quiz. New Testament got the bye because they got that high, and now all of a sudden, Falls 1 gets the low. They were sitting pretty through 6 quizzes. No one had a better record, had no lows in any respect. Now they have one. And so that's tough. And you look at just, they were a tiebreaker away from avoiding that quiz altogether. And so small things. Years ago, when BibleQuizzer.net was driven by articles rather than by podcasts, I wrote an article called Things Turn on a Trifle. And you have very small things that make a big difference. For example, when we talk about Falls 1 getting that low on that on a quiz they would have avoided if they get the tiebreaker question. That's a trifle. That's a small thing. And yet on it turned one of the 2 favorites of this tournament getting a low before lunch, something we did not expect. So 7 teams left, 3 don't have a low, 4 do have a low. It was announced that we're going to lunch, and now Mr. Douglas wants to overrule. So, okay. All right. Well, apparently there's a disagreement between Jono and Mr. Douglas about whether there should be a bye, and Jono said we're taking lunch, and Mr. Douglas says we're not going to take lunch. So I don't know who wins that argument. We will sit on the sidelines and watch. but the tournament director said we're going to lunch, and now the quiz master wants to have a quiz. So